I'm a yellow cab man anyway.
Chris has gotten Stugotz has gotten very comfortable stealing your bit there, Chris. Have you noticed that?
You know.
He's not the only one. I take that as pride.
As you should. It's a good bit.
Iconic bit.
Mm-hmm.
I love people tweet me like anytime there's any like headline out there with word comment like, Chris, you see this? It's like, I don't know if I created this. Maybe I made it popular. It's mine now.
Take credit.
That's where you failed. You created it. Okay. Take full credit for it. It's your invention. It's the first time I've heard it. And Dan is right. I stole it. So I just do it when you don't do it. That's all. I hope you don't feel like I'm stealing.
Billy gets in there too. It's
yeah.
I like it.
All right.
Makes me proud.
Good.
How you doing today, Dad?
I'm well, thank you. How are you, son?
It's Wednesday. It's a different, it's out of your element.
It is, yeah. It's.
How you feeling?
I couldn't feel better. It's terrific. I feel terrific.
You got your blousey shirt on.
I do. Yeah.
He looks fresh and radiant. Put it on the poll, please, for me, Roy, at LeBatardShow. Is there anything worse in getting dressed in the morning than spilling something on a white shirt after you've left the house? First thing in the morning.
Tough one.
Yeah.
I am now doing the uncomfortable show of sort of splotchy, wet stains on my nipple because I had a coffee stain on a pristine white shirt.
And it landed right on the nipple.
And now I'm in some discomfort while I'm doing this. I'm leaking confidence.
I kind of want to see it now.
I see it. Ooh, it looks so bad.
It
looks so bad.
I'm leaning over.
At least you didn't draw attention to it right away.
Correct your posture. Imagine fajitas are coming out behind you.
There are too many cameras around here. This is uncomfortable.
Who was bad mouthing fajitas yesterday? I kind of saw some Twitter stuff.
Nobody.
We didn't bad mouth.
I'll fight anyone.
We didn't bad mouth.
It is
fajitas.
not.
You're not gonna fight no one.
It does not fit in that category of taste. Like it is always delightful.
What category is that for people who haven't heard the show?
Category,
you gotta set
the category was foods that smell great and are underwhelming. They're not bad, but they just don't taste as great as they smell.
Underwhelming compared to the taste.
No
the
way.
aromatic experience.
Yeah.
Fajitas are delicious every single time.
But Mike is saying they're delicious. He said the smell is better though.
I don't maybe the sound. If you want to play the sound game, the sound of fajitas. Maybe. I don't.
What are you doing? We keep getting stuck.
Everybody
on
keeps
the
wanting to
same
make
thing
my
with
take
Mike.
an anti-fajita take. I am not anti-fajita. I told you all the types of fajitas I love. It's just not as good as the smell when it first comes out.
You're not anti-fajita, and you are pro-fajita.
Scott Fajita.
Love Scott Fajita.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do this again. People continue to mishear you on this.
Thank you for defending me. I appreciate that.
Jess is coming in now steaming because her Uber got a flat and she deserves a refund. We were
Thank you all for replying to my message in Slack, by the way.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
I've stopped using Slack.
Apparently Dan did.
No, I didn't. Mike just told me that you got a flat and we couldn't have anybody who was still coming in pick you up.
Yeah,
And
in our defense, we were all here.
Yeah. Even I was here.
And I wasn't because my Uber got a flat tire.
Did you get a refund? You deserve a refund.
I literally just walked out of the car. I have not even looked at the app yet.
No extra tip, right?
Yeah. Should have picked a
0
different Uber.
stars?
Yeah.
Zero
Zero stars, yeah.
oh,
It's not the car. It's not the guy's
that on
fault.
the
Or you
poll.
just got to admit.
Wait,
admit
Chris,
the
how do
review.
you know where the tire started? You don't know.
Yeah, but
Perhaps
that's
you
just-
needed air, you didn't get it,
that's just
tire
a
pressure signal was on.
To me, that's a random thing. It's like I'm not gonna tip less at a restaurant if like there's a random hair in my food, right? Because it's like
Yeah,
where'd that hair
of course
come
you
from? It
are.
could have fallen
Yes,
from
you
anywhere.
are.
It's like someone didn't put the hair in there. It's just like a random mistake that was made that no one really had control over. That's what I think of as a flat tire.
Not only do you not tip, you use that hair to get a free meal.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
Greg.
do.
Put it on the poll,
Yeah.
please. Is the tip smaller if there's a hair in your food? And if the Uber driver gets a flat, is it 0 stars from you? Because that seems like you're making a
course.
bad day worse for the Uber driver. And a flat seems often random, most often random.
Right.
My guess is it's not an act of negligence. The man didn't have enough air in his tires.
People tend to know their cars, Dan. You get that, the backwards Colts logo that pops up on your
Yeah, he had one of
dashboard.
those.
He
There
did?
were multiple check engine
You
lights.
noticed it when you started?
I noticed it immediately.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Oh, my God. It changes everything.
I
Yeah.
texted Lee and I was like, the guy has multiple check engine lights and something sounds like it's dying in the back of this car right now.
Right.
He's like, oh, call me if you need anything.
I don't love that your initial reaction is to think that I had left you stranded on the road without
All
a
of
care.
us. She
in the
came in
world.
here with all that energy.
She came in here really upset at us.
We should have all gone sprinting down the causeway and carried her in here.
Just a reply.
I would've.
Just acknowledge you saw the message that I'm going to be late.
We did
Tony,
talk
I
about
did
it.
think about texting
we
you.
did talk about it amongst ourselves, and we're like, "Ooh, should we call Roy? He's not here yet." And then Roy walked through the door.
I was calling
There was
Roy. I was literally calling Roy to tell him to pick you up, and he walked in.
Roy would have picked me up too.
Absolutely.
I would
tell
have
you
picked you
something.
Roy
up.
would have been there in a second.
You send
Roy's
that.
the only one.
You send that Slack 20 minutes earlier. I'm there in a heartbeat.
I saw you stranded on the causeway. I sped up as I went past.
Thanks, Greg.
I want to get back to what Chris Cote just objected to, because this has been for 2 days an argument that Mike must be tired of making at this point, which is, please, just because I am saying something doesn't taste as good as the expectation that it brings with it to the table because of the smell, please don't make me anti that thing.
But I get the context. I hear you. Context, accept it into my brain. Wrong.
All right, well, you would have been pissed because OLI was bacon.
I'm actually kind of with you on bacon. That I'm actually with you.
But
'cause
it's the
bacon-
same concept. That's what he's saying.
but bacon's
I just-
great.
because sometimes on I've done this before with bacon. I don't want to go down that, but like sometimes bacon on a sandwich can be a little over. Like I don't love it on all sandwiches. Fajitas are always amazing.
I disagree. Sometimes they're just okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and even if they are amazing, it'll never match the aromatic experience.
I don't actually want to have this conversation
He's
again.
doing it to me again, Dan. You
Kept
see
bringing
this.
it up though.
But the reason I'm
going
bringing
back
it
to
up
it.
is
It's
to
weird.
talk about Kevin Durant.
Oh,
Of
course.
I
He's
am.
the fajitas of the NBA. I can see that.
I want to talk about how people listen and how they argue in sports, because yesterday I went home with this yesterday in a way that surprised me. I'm like, these guys think Kevin Durant's career is a disappointment.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, I just hold on for a second, okay?
I've thought it for years.
Okay, can you please just allow me to get the
Sorry.
thought out
Yeah.
before you again hit
Now
the
I
same
get- he's
note
doing
on
the
the
thing,
thought
yeah.
I mean,
that you've had for a
keep
long
bringing it up.
time. Yes,
Underachiever.
my point is on expectations, because I'm guessing that you could probably make, if this is your barrier or your starting point, you can make Shaq and LeBron disappointments too. But
Shaq is.
Wow.
you can do that, but then the standard is just Stugotz's Exactian standard of it's Jordan, and that's the only choice. Like you're not, that everyone else in this climate is going to be fajitas. Like nobody just gets to be the thing that smells good the whole way, and then I eat it and it's scrumptious and delicious. Everybody, by this standard,
Yeah.
everybody who plays today is a disappointment. Everybody.
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, I think there are lines. But here's a sports fajita. The Boston Celtics Big Three. They won a championship. You look at it on the balance. Hey, we raised a banner that's good for us. Hurrah. But generally disappointing. They should have won more.
I would say the big three with Miami.
You can make that argument.
They won
But-
2 in
okay,
4
but-
years, should have won
all right,
4.
but-
Fajitas.
I mean, yeah.
If that one is a different discussion that I'd like to have with you guys. But to me, if this is the way you do the standard Stugotz,
Yes.
if this is how you're doing it, Kevin Durant is a disappointment. Why is he a disappointment? Oh, because he played in the same era as LeBron James, who was also a disappointment because it was hard to get past him. The big three, those big threes had to go through Kobe. Kobe gets his legacy because at least in part they couldn't.
I think
They
Durant.
did. They didn't. That big. If you think Boston's big three, you have to elevate the person that they're playing with. And what I'm saying is, more and more, we don't want to elevate anybody.
It's about expectations. Kevin Durant gives off and had the expectation of, hey, I could do this by myself. I could do it. Give me a couple of ancillary decent players. I'll go win some
But
championships.
then the super team formed around
No,
him.
but Dan, with Steph Curry, no one had these championship expectations. It's why Steph Curry is viewed in large part the way he's viewed.
Well,
because
but wait a minute. Don't make
4
it,
titles
wait,
for Steph.
But Stugotz,
Not a disappointment, Steph
Right.
Curry.
okay,
Exactly.
but wait, I just got done a couple months ago with you guys saying he needed a Finals MVP.
Well, he got it.
That was a fajitas conversation.
Jeez.
I just cut a dismissal of Stugotz ripping quoting Steph Curry like the day after the final.
Yeah.
Do it again.
Mm-hmm.
I think with one NBA Finals, the narrative around Steph Curry and Kevin Durant changed, and the entire time in Golden State when the two were together also shifted a little bit. I think over one off season, you look at the expectations for Kevin Durant's career and his talent, and you could say mildly disappointing, especially since Golden State did it without him.
Who else can be in this category, please? Because you're talking of such a level of greatness where you are so awed by the skill that the fact that he's historic or / unprecedented or best ever is still disappointment to you. Puts your standard in a place where I don't put my standards for sports. Like I would like to stop a few notches before that to appreciate excellence when it's better than anything I've ever seen before I get to, and also you weren't quite good enough to be in my top 5.
Well, we have this conversation in almost every NBA playoffs. The perfect sports fajita is Chris Paul. He'd be on everybody's top 5 point guard list of all time.
Yep.
But a disappointing career because he's never won the title.
When you weigh disappointment and legacy and all that stuff, you have to factor in injury history. You have to. It's not fair. It's not Kevin Durant's fault that he's been injured a lot, but it is a factor in discussing whether his career has been a disappointment.
May I, for a second, though, just again say to you guys, like, if you're going to be in the era and compare across eras, can I ask you to not forget the history of how the last 12 years happened? Not just that Durant kept stopping at LeBron's doorstep, but that the big 3 that is of disappointment, LeBron could not get past the big 3 that was a disappointment in Boston. And so he formed his own big 3. And Durant couldn't get through that big 3 that had been formed as a counter to a big 3. So what Durant is playing in is an era of all the teams get together and are the Jordan team. And against that is what he lost. And then when he made his own, you said it was unfair. When he countered with his own super team to losing to the super teams because he thought you'd give him credit for that.
Right.
Then you said it was too easy because you don't join a super team, even though you crowned LeBron on his super team. You crowned Dirk for beating that super team.
Oh, I think it tarnishes LeBron's legacy a little bit that he couldn't win one before he formed a super team. And then he only won 2 with that super team.
But my point is that's the era they're competing in, and only one can win with the super team, right? Like that's only one of them can win. And if that's the climate around what we're talking about, if the whole sport changes and the expectation is now either beat a super team or don't join a super team.
Right. I mean, Giannis didn't join a super team. He stayed put in Milwaukee and he won a title. That's how you do it. That's how you get max credit. That's the way it works, Dan. You win one with Chris Middleton.
And by the way, if you're looking at 4 straight finals and 2 championships in 4 years and calling that a disappointment, that's a pretty good definition of harsh. 4 finals in a row and 2 championships. I don't think anybody really thinks the big 3 was a disappointment because they didn't run the table and win 4 titles in a row.
He said not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8. That hurts him.
I guess,
Nobody took him
I
literally.
guess what I'm asking,
I did.
Okay.
I'm asking the entire crew here, as it relates to the Miami Heat reports that they're not going to give up Bam to get Kevin Durant. What it felt like to me, this has happened a couple of times with the Heat, once famously with Goran Dragic.
The Dragon.
These guys, through their advisors and everywhere else, are told how to make the mess. There is a strategy in Kevin Durant making the world know, Stugotz, because you don't see a lot of this. Me or them, I made it clear in a meeting with the owner, then it immediately gets leaked. Gets leaked to Shams because Durant was willing to take the hit of bleep it. I don't care. Burn it all down. Burn the Nets down and burn down what anybody thinks of me, because at this point I'm maximum troll. And when somebody writes, Stugotz, on Twitter, because Durant lives in this world
Of taking hits.
Somebody writes, the car wouldn't start this morning. I get to work late. The internet is down. I love this shit. Unlike KD, I actually enjoy taking the hardest road. It's basically just problem-solving practice. And Kevin Durant's response to him, because he can't leave it alone, because he's been distorted by fighting these people on the internet for 10 years in the day of the modern superstar. eaten up by the acids of the internet. Quote, you enjoy having a shitty car and getting to work and not being able to connect to the internet?
It's the hard path. I mean,
you arguing on behalf of someone else taking the hard path, you getting to be the pioneer and the decider on what is a sufficiently hard path. Can I ask you guys, are you not factoring in at all, Stugotz, that whatever it is you think of Kevin Durant has to be run through the prism of you criticize him for not being able to beat the super team, and then you criticize him for making a better super team than the super teams that were beating him.
No, let's do it this way, Dan. Let's go back to like my original thoughts on Kevin Durant coming out of Texas. I thought he was going to be one of those players. And so
did Dan, even though he wanted Odin over him.
Right. But in large part, it's because of how much respect I have for Kevin Durant's game and his talent. He didn't need to go team up with Steph Curry. He did one title in Oklahoma City would have done more for him than the 2 titles he won in Golden State. Just one.
Okay, so now
it worked for Giannis.
What I was going to say about these teams now that want Kevin Durant, all these shadow personalities that make the decision, how's Durant going to do this? Because it's orchestrated, Stugotz.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is having a conversation somewhere about how do we get out to the world what just happened in this meeting with the owner, and that we gave him the ultimatum of him or me. We've checkmated the organization, have we not?
Kind of, I guess. Yeah. I mean, Josiah technically doesn't have to do anything. He doesn't.
Okay, but
he's got Kevin Durant under contract.
But do you want this, though? Okay, but what do you think's going to happen? Do you think he wants this in his locker room all season when the guy who's going to be leaking this kind of stuff in an orchestrated campaign? Look, man, this is kept escalating. It's faster than ever on how fast can you get out. Harden, how fast can you get out when you're not happy in a place? How fast can you get out? Can you make it noisier? Can you make it noisier? And then it's leaked.
But here's the problem, Dan, with this situation. Harden didn't choose his coach, the GM. Kevin Durant and Kyrie got there. They chose Steve Nash. First off, Sean Marks is the guy who brought him there, so he's clearly good at his job. Sean Marks got them to go to Brooklyn. Those two could have teamed up and gone anywhere.
Hold on.
They chose Steve Nash. They said they didn't need a coach. Now it's the coach's fault? Get out of here.
He has to be traded now because of this ultimatum. He has to be traded. They have no choice. And Brooklyn's bargaining power just went down because of it.
Stugotz, I think you're misreading this when I tell you it's orchestrated. I thought that this was clear what had happened here. Perhaps I have this wrong. Somebody please correct me if you look at it another way.
Okay.
This isn't an actual ultimatum. It's not actually, it's a checkmate move. He doesn't have to get rid of them. He could just put this out there through Shams. And now you've got a fight on your hands that's public. I don't think he actually means that. I don't think that Durant is saying, do you think he's saying, because I did not read this into it, that Durant is saying, oh, if you get rid of these guys, I'll be perfectly happy here for the next 4 years and resign. That's not how I took that.
I think Kevin Durant would be more willing to fulfill his contract if they got rid of Steve Nash.
But you did hear it that way. Am I wrong on this?
Why else would he do the us or them, me or them?
Because he wants it out. He also
knows
making
Josiah
it messy.
Yeah, I guess he assumes that Josiah wouldn't do that.
Well, you can't put your owner in the position after what Kevin Durant has done. It's a bleep you checkmate move by his advisors and him. Like, it's not a flippant thing. It's meant to escalate fires and flames. Get me out of here. Yeah,
right.
I just went to the owner and told him to his face, either I'm in charge or you're in charge. Who's it going to be?
It also throws the locker room into a bit of chaos, too, because the best player doesn't have faith in the people guiding this ship. Why should I? It's not a great look for Kevin Durant as he tries to force his way out.
Mike, it's a terrible look for Kevin Durant. What I'm saying to you guys, in torching the end of the legacy of a guy who came into this wanting to be something, back when LeBron was the bad guy because he did a TV show, and Kevin Durant quietly went to Orlando and re-signed with his backpack because he was all about basketball. He kept losing to LeBron. At the end, with whatever's left of his power, Kevin Durant, at the end of what a mess the player empowerment age can make, Kevin Durant is coming for ownership and saying, who's in charge here, you or me? And then leaking it to the press. And then Woj and Stugotz, this is where it's Game of Thrones shit. Shams breaks it at 2:00 and ESPN on a giant story where Kevin Durant has just said me or him. ESPN sits it out for 6 hours, and everybody knows that there are delays around the Marks stuff and Woj, and everyone knows that Woj and Marks are connected. And so what you're getting on ESPN is a different version of the story than the one that's playing out hours earlier in the information age, Stugotz, when we're saying seconds earlier matters. ESPN set this out for 6 hours.
Right.
After it, like, when does it ever get to the point of, hey, me or him? And Kevin Durant is flexing here. He's saying, yeah, I've run the shit into the ground and I still have the power. What are you going to do? I want out of here. Them or me. They're not in charge. Of course it's ugly. He's burning it all down.
Okay, that's fair what you're saying, but that's exactly the point we were all trying to make yesterday.
Yeah.
He has made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and it's why he won't be viewed as one of the all-time greats.
That
Wouldn't you dub that disappointing?
That has almost next to nothing to do with what I think of him as a player. I don't know.
It should. I mean,
Been a disappointing career if he's making bad decision after bad decision. I'm not saying he's not great. I'm just saying he's fajitas.
Ooh, did someone order?
Should have gotten those.
Oh, man. Can I get...
I'm hungry now. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Can I get extra cheese?
It's
Thank
too
you.
early for fajitas, is it not?
Never.
It's never too early for fajitas.
Never.
breakfast fajitas. What do you have in your
think it's too
mind?
early.
On your shirt.
And then that plate comes out a sizzling.
Can I get a frozen marg with a floater, please? Thank you.
Too early for fajitas.
It might be too early for that.
Roy, did you just lash me across the face with stain on your shirt?
Yes, I did. Don't you dare say that about fajitas. Come on, it's too early. Get out of here.
This gets me thinking, who else in sports should be on the fajita platter? Presenting the sports fajita.
This is
For the beef, we have Dan Marino.
Wow.
what?
For the chicken, we have Chris Paul.
Excellent.
For the cheese, ooh, you're going to get pissed. For the cheese, we have two-time Super Bowl champion Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Great
Excellent.
career. Fajitas, you would say, but not quite good enough considering the expectation.
Came out smelling so good.
Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
They didn't even win a Heisman.
Yeah.
For the sour cream, Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. Excellent.
Keep in mind, he won a national championship at Syracuse. Expectations were sky high.
Yep.
Just missing that little something to make it as good as it smells.
Mm-hmm.
For the guac, you can't say one without the other. Stockton Malone.
There you go. The mailman.
No doubt.
The peppers. Ooh, this one's going to piss people off. Wilt Chamberlain.
Oh,
Well, this still.
not enough championships.
Growing up, I've been
Just
told how
one.
dominant
Yeah.
Wilt is. He has a photo of him holding the 100. Just one championship? What?
Yeah.
For the onions, Aaron Rodgers.
Ah,
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
Excellent.
Just one title? Are you shitting me?
Mm-hmm.
Not good enough. For the tortillas, Mike Trout.
Ah, Trouty.
Oh, baseball's so unfair.
I
to
don't
do that to
understand
someone
that
in
team.
Baseball.
Just don't
But
understand it.
that's not. Is it even fair? You know how
It's
good. How's it fair? You know how great Mike Trout is. How much?
Do it in the playoffs.
He's considered one of the all-time, if not the greatest hitter of all time. He's never made the playoffs, or he made it once.
But
Did he even make it?
Yeah, he made it once.
He did?
Yeah.
I don't even remember it.
Wow, so you're going to do that in baseball too?
Yeah.
Plus, he has no personality. He's known for being dull.
Whoa, no, he showed some personality on Supodity. He's getting better.
He did.
It sounds like
Putting
it's
himself
just
out there.
raining now. It doesn't sound delicious. It
I could fall
sounds.
asleep to this.
I'm hungry and
Delightful.
sleepy now.
It's the
It's
calm
like
app.
rain and fajitas.
It's-
Close your eyes.
It's raining on the fajitas.
You realize my dreams are filled with raining fajitas.
Oh
They
wait,
are.
this was the Scott Fajita sound of him walking through a forest during a storm.
Excellent.
Wrong sound, Chris.
This is, you know what? This is stop being a fajita, and now it's somebody with a raincoat walking through a dark place near a cabin, and it's raining really hard. There are leaves on the ground.
I don't know why, but I got to pee.
It's Rambo.
For the lettuce, Xander Schauffele.
What?
He's only won an Olympics.
That's
Outta here.
That's without a major, I think.
I don't know if he's the best without a major, but he's in every major.
Well, we can
He's
all
going to
agree.
break through soon.
We can all agree he's a fajita.
He's a fajita.
If that.
How
now.
many more ingredients are there?
There's one last one. Can't have fajitas without the pico. Rick Riley. Never got it.
Rick Riley.
He's right.
Couldn't do it under the big pressure of the big contract and the bright lights.
Jessica, do you know the whole, as someone who is Sports Illustrated in the modern incarnation, do you have any idea what this history of Rick Riley is? Because I don't believe a lot of people know the story you're talking about here.
I don't know why he's on this list. I know who he is and like what he's done.
I mean, you work for Sports Illustrated, so...
Yeah, in like 2010s though.
Yeah, but I
You'd be
imagine his
interested
photos in the hallway.
You'd be interested in what Rick Riley...
I know who he is. But why is he on the
there a
fajita
statue?
list?
Well, because here's a stat for you. Rick Riley has never made me laugh once.
It's a good stat. Stat of the day. I mean,
Little known fact.
he came out of journalism school, smelling great. Didn't taste so great.
Rick Riley was in beer commercials.
Huh?
He made sports writers famous and made sports writers money. There was a bidding war between ESPN magazine and Sports Illustrated over Rick Riley, and he launched the age of sports writers as comedic talents, and he landed at ESPN, and he got immediately lazy, and he was the best sports writer in America, bar none, at Sports Illustrated. Many years
He wrote the back page, the little pithy column, right?
he was for 10 years.
Yeah.
Super pithy.
Very pithy.
He was the best before he got to ESPN, and then he got a lot of money, and
Mailed it in.
Hall of Famer.
yeah, and then got into ESPN and criticized Kevin Durant for taking the easy path.
I literally, wow, Jess is so young. And I just realized because the internet, people don't go to dictionaries anymore. Off air, I told her, look up pithy in the dictionary. And she proceeded to actually look up pithy in the
I
dictionary to
didn't
give
know
me a
what I was
definition.
missing. I was like, okay, I know what it means. Is this a quiz? Are we taking the SATs?
The joke is that there's a photo of Rick Riley next to the word pithy, but I just realized someone your age doesn't actually have any experience with a dictionary. Why would you?
Rick Riley was not a good person to put on this list.
How many times has he made you laugh?
Oh, I admired him as a sports writer.
There we go. 0 times.
Would you go to his funeral?
Oh no.
Would you kill him?
That is not a game we're playing.
What?
Murder or not murder?
Right.
What'd you think about it?
If you could get away with it.
What?
What?
Oh,
If you could get, that's an important
am I
caveat.
We are
Yes.
not, guys, we are
Wait
not
a
doing
minute.
this.
Let's
Dave
play
Hyde.
this game.
No.
Hold on. This is an escalation of this
Mike,
game I did
if
not
you
see coming.
knew you could get away with it.
No.
Listen, Mike,
Not ending someone's life.
Mike.
Shame on you, Greg.
this is what Greg Cote is saying, and I put it before caucus to vote on it. Please. I want to vote on this. Greg Cote is saying you're not advocating to actually murder someone. You're just saying
Correct.
you're totally getting away with it. 1 minute they're alive, the next minute they're dead. You've killed them. No one will ever know. Your conscience will never know. You will not have a moment's guilt about it. It will be a clean extinguishment.
I am not going to murder someone just because they didn't make me laugh. If that were the case, there wouldn't be a cast of The Big Bang Theory.
Who would you nominate, Greg Cote?
Well, I was being hypothetical.
No,
I'm
now
not
that we're here-
actually
no, but now-
advocating
but now-
killing
Dave Hyde.
anyone.
Now,
Dave Hyde.
why
You've
Dave
got
Hyde?
me.
Why do
You've
you
got me gutting
It's his
young
nemesis.
Sheldon like a
I mean-
fish. I'm not going to do this.
Why do you keep killing Dave Hyde?
I'm
of
not
the
killing
Sun
Dave Hyde. I'm wondering if Greg would kill him. If he
Sentinel.
can get
No.
away with it.
Greg Cote doesn't have rivals like that in the sports media.
I used to. There have been a couple over the years.
Okay.
Dave Hyde has never been one.
There have
Name
been.
one.
I like Dave Hyde.
Can we name
Okay.
one?
Charles
Name
Bricker.
names. Oh, wow.
Oh, Charlie Bricker.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie
Who
Bricker.
hung up on my wife once when she called me a Dolphins fan.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
So if you could get away with it,
Don't ask him this.
Is Charles Bricker still with us?
I have no idea.
Doesn't sound like
and
I have
if,
to
he,
kill
and
him
if he
now.
isn't, I have an alibi.
Let me go back a moment because I will tell this story now publicly that Greg Cote has aired this local laundry. Greg Cote, the happiest I've ever seen him, was one day.
Oh, yeah. I just remembered. I know where you're going. And I was happy. I'm still happy.
It's what I believe to be the happiest moment, Stugotz,
yes.
of Greg Cote's entire life. And knowing the story I'm about to tell, Greg Cote, would you say that it was indeed the happiest moment of your life?
Oh, it's on my resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was that happiest moment of your life June 5th, 2012, when he died?
Yeah.
Where were you on that day, coincidentally?
I didn't know he had died, and I'm sorry to hear it.
That's what someone would say if they murdered him.
Obviously, I had a professional animus against him,
Throw
not
people off the scent.
necessarily.
We have an off ramp here, Greg. Before we go too far, I
Can I
suggest you
tell you
take
about
it.
the happiest day of Greg Cote's life, or do you
Yeah.
want to? Do you want to
Yeah.
wait till the end of the segment for the payoff? of
I'd love to
this?
relive it.
He was so happy because he opened up the newspaper and having picked games against the spread that week, Charles Bricker, NFL expert, hated rival of Greg Cote, went 0-17 against the spread.
There were a few buys. It was actually 0-14, but I'll
That's
take
impossible.
it. I'll take it. If you try to miss every game against the spread, you cannot do it. And he did the impossible. In my office, I got to take a picture of it and tweet it out. In my office, I still have the cutout from the newspaper where it has his record as 0-14 that week. You can't do that if you tried. Career highlight.
You still
for me.
have it up there?
Yes.
I mean, the man's dead.
Well, and I'm sorry to hear that.
Let it go.
I didn't know it until today.
For 10 years he's been. What is your other rival? Who is your other rival?
I don't want to get into the. Yeah, I said one. Let's
was
leave,
your
Let's
game.
leave it
I
at
mean-
Charles Bricker. You know.
We're not going to do better than Charles Bricker. There's not going to be a payoff better than 0-14 Charles Bricker.
Yeah, because with the other rival that I once hated, we reconciled a little bit, so I don't even want to mention him.
That's nice.
You came in here with a dark energy, my friend.
And a dark shirt as well.
Yeah, that's your murder shirt.
Yeah.
Your Dexter murder
Yeah.
outfit.
It's also
It
the
is.
shirt you wore 2 days ago.
Oh,
Oh, man.
You ever heard of laundry? You think it's been
Since
washed
the
between-
draft, you wore to the draft on Friday night, the highlight
Correct.
draft.
Yeah.
You watched it since then?
Maybe.
wait a minute. That
Maybe
seems
not.
like a confession. That seems like a maybe there is.
Yes, sometimes I wear clothes 2 days in a row. Is that a felony?
Nope.
Thank you.
Put it on the poll, please, at LeBatard
No,
Show.
but talking about murdering people on a podcast probably is, Greg.
I'm kidding. It's just a hypothetical.
Misdemeanor.
And I'm genuine. By the way, I am genuinely sorry to hear that Charles Bricker passed away.
It's what a killer
Are you
would
going to
say.
take the record down?
my condolences. No, that'll stay up. But my
It's-
condolences
it's
to
what
anyone who
someone-
loved him.
It's
Both
what
of them.
someone who had killed him 10 years ago would say.
Mhm.
Both of them.
Wow, I'm going to get in trouble for this.
Well, how?
You're the one that started it all.
I know.
What's he going to do?
I don't think I would have mentioned his name had I known he was no longer with us, which I'm genuinely sorry to hear.
But I don't think it's too soon. It's been 10 years and he was your nemesis. And
He
I feel
was.
like 10 years later, it's okay.
Okay. Thank you for that.
I may be wrong, though.
Yes, you may be.
But now, so if he were alive, you'd be fine with him hearing this.
I think so. Yeah, he did hang up on my wife.
You mentioned
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
He was,
We've got the motive established.
yeah.
You will not abide that disrespect.
Right.
You are a noble man who will not abide that insult lightly, and you will dance happily
Yes.
on his 0-14.
No, on his
own-
0-14, not on his grave. No dancing there. I'm not dancing.
But the 0-14 will
Smiling,
remain,
maybe.
right?
Smiling, maybe.
But-
Yeah, well,
but
is it time for a commercial break? What are we
Suffice
doing
to
here?
say, this is your greatest rival in the history of this market, in the
Yeah.
newspaper wars of this market.
Correct. Yes. We were on the beat together. I only covered the Dolphins as a beat in 90 and 91. And we were rivals, and we were bitter rivals. Everybody makes fun of Dave Hyde being a bitter rival. He's not. He's a friend of mine. But Charles Bricker was legitimately a bitter rival. We did not like each other, and it got pretty personal.
How did that manifest? If you went to a media room at a sports arena, would crowds part? Would the temperature of the room change? Would everyone know there was beef?
At that point in the Dolphins locker room and in the Dolphins media room, yes.
You could cut the tension with a knife.
I suppose you could.
With a tension-cutting utensil.
That's
you
correct.
could go in there
Yes.
and just, because you and Bricker were facing off, and it was like two big bulls. He was an angry man. Bricker, I don't remember ever seeing him laugh. I don't remember seeing very many smiles from him.
Must have been a Rick Riley fan.
He was made of sandpaper.
Yeah. He was also hated on the tennis beat.
Was he really?
Yeah. He was not a nice person. It's like you said after Hank Goldberg died, so I don't feel too bad saying it about the
Oh,
late
really?
Charles
That's
Bricker.
where you're going to allow me to
Yes, correct.
grant you permission?
Way to own it.
I did mine as just content. I was joking the whole time.
Oh yeah, you were joking. Sure you were. No, you weren't.
Oh, I had such a bit laid out, and then Stugotz rolled in another direction on me by heaping praise on Hank Goldberg, and so I was out there alone.
As I did, a good man.
I was
The hammer.
zigging while others were zagging. You guys, I wanted a trilogy. You guys were just legend. And we still haven't found out what Stugotz did between jobs, slinging munis, and the story falls apart. And we don't know why Stugotz won't say what would be a trilogy about Hank Goldberg. But 10 years later, I think we could eulogize Charles Bricker. He was a bitter, angry man, hated across tennis and football, who once went 0-14, picking against the spread, and furthermore, thought he was better and knew more about football than Greg Cote, because this is the start of it.
Right.
The start of it is that Bricker carried himself like an old-time football guy who had Hall of Fame credentials that Greg Cote did not have.
Correct. Yeah. And by the way, this is breaking news, perhaps. I don't think Charles Bricker has passed away. I think that's not the Charles Bricker. Pretty
Really?
common name. I just Googled.
Common name, huh?
Fine.
I just
Who's
Googled Charles Bricker death, and the obituary I read was a guy who was about Charles Bricker's age, but didn't look the least bit like him.
Okay, wait
Wasn't
a
my
minute.
Charles Bricker.
Who's getting fined $50?
Is this Charles Bricker, Dan?
Cortez and I in the back here were doing some research. We
Is that
found
him?
a Charles Bricker that looked like the guy my dad. It just looked like the guy. He worked for the
That's what he
Herald.
looked
We found a guy that worked for the Herald named Charlie Bricker.
He never worked for the Herald.
He did not. He worked
right, well
for the
then-
Sun Sentinel.
He wouldn't be a rival if he worked at the Herald, right?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
I can still dislike him, but
Christ.
he wouldn't be a rival.
The hour ends with an amazing mystery. It's Charles.
Who killed Charles Bricker?
Who is Charles Bricker?
now you have to suffer the consequences of a living Charles Bricker receiving this episode. You talking excitedly about his death while he's still very much alive.
At least you're not wanted for murder anymore.
Thank you.
All right, you're off the hook.
The sweetest posthumous, non-posthumous revenge Charlie Bricker could ever have.
The show is a bit messy already. Greg Cote comes in proudly and brings us an ever-flowing river of content diarrhea, and we are grateful for it on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. It's why we fully support the Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote,
With
the podcast
Fine.
that stars Greg Cote. You can get it wherever it is that you get your podcasts.
Damn
He is
right.
feeling remorse now, Chris. I don't need to tell you about your father, Chris, because he just made good content. I just told him during the break, my God, Greg, it has been a career highlight to have a podcast episode described as Who Killed Charles Bricker. These murder podcasts are doing great. I want to get
We're
into
not even certain he's dead.
I know.
No, we're not. And this is why the mystery will unfold over the show. I am hell-bent on finding Charles Bricker, bringing an end to this, finding a show I need the close of this post game today, finishing up with we have healed this wound with Charles Bricker. They are reunited. Greg Cote forgives him. Everything is okay. Charles Bricker's not dead. Hooray.
So I reached out to Dave Hyde, who used to work with Charles
Pick up that
Bricker,
name.
and I totally came out of left field. He hadn't heard the name Charles Bricker in almost 20 years.
Of course.
He went to check a phone book, like an actual physical phone book.
No, he didn't.
To
He
see if he had
has
a
one.
contact for Charles Bricker, and he revealed to me that half the people in the phone book were dead.
No. No.
So
It
we
was in his junk
remain
drawer.
we remain hot on the trail. Unfortunately, no contact for Charles Bricker came out of that conversation with Dave Hyde.
I want the payoff at some point. Our show is not good at payoffs. You're about to learn just how bad we are at payoffs. A gambling company gave us a whole lot of money, and I don't know what they expect from their betting around here, but we're not that. I don't know if anyone told DraftKings that, but I just saw the research.
We're Charles Bricker.
I just saw the research that Stugotz put into what he's about to pick.
Yeah.
And it is not great expertise that is recommending our bets to you. Mike Ryan does actually do this. He wagers all the time. He is looking for edges. He is looking for spots. He's just looking for action, but he is a little more informed than Stugotz is right now as he scrolls through the baseball schedule and just looks for horses who are pitching.
Exactly right. Not many horses out there, Dan. I got to tell you, there's only a few left, and they're all in the Mets. I mean,
I got my ass handed to me this morning by Dan Straley. First start in years out in the KBO.
oh, wow.
These bets of ours have not been working. I just heard a funny conversation between you and Tony where you ask, how did your UFC parlay do? And he's like, well, we started 2-0. And Mike's like, you lost.
It always starts that way.
We had a hot start. We had Sergey Pavlovich who beat Derek
L.
Lewis. And no, that was a dub.
No. I'm just saying.
No,
I can
but when-
already tell how you're
When
speaking
your response is, it started off, that
you're
means
hot.
it's an L.
Oh,
okay?
man.
Nothing better than hitting that first leg of a parlay.
The second
though.
leg, Brandon Moreno beats Kai Kara France, and we are steaming. And all of a sudden, Juliana Pena goes 5 with the Lioness.
No, but
It
what-
wasn't her fault. I
You're-
mean,
Listen to me,
You got
Tony.
to hedge that, Tony.
Tony,
well, I did.
you
Personally.
are trying to vie to be our
Attaboy.
UFC expert. You've seen there's a lane. There's a lane. You're trying to get in it.
Yeah.
And the show would be called Fade Tony.
And, well,
I mean, we've been 2 or 3
you
the last
won.
Phony.
Like, there you go. Let's do it right now. The Fade Tony Phony. Let's do that. I want that to be that. I want that to be our bet today. Whatever it is, I don't even want what Stugotz's opinion.
So we want
I found a horse.
Phony to look at the board.
No, listen.
Tell
to
us
me.
what he likes and
I
fade
don't
him.
care how this confuses people. This is what I wish this to be because the way we're doing it is not the correct way. If we want to do these stupid winning Wednesdays and not keep losing winning Wednesdays because our picks are shitty, I want a Fade Tony Phony Wednesday DraftKings special of the week. So, Tony, you tell us what you think is going to happen in sports today, and we're going to bet the other way on that.
It's Phony Wednesday. Let's do this.
I got a good one.
Excellent.
I'm
He
all
always
in.
says
I'm all in.
that.
I don't know what the odds are. Again, I've never talked to anybody. I have no idea what's up.
Doesn't matter.
Wait. Let's wait for the phony imaging.
You have imaging?
We work fast around here, Dano. I'm all in. Lock of the century tonight. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. That's what they're still called. Oh, God. Tuki Toussaint on the bump. Personal friend of mine, by the way.
Is this why we're doing it?
He's
This
1-0
is-
with a 4.3 ERA. Guy is
That's not good.
money. Don't worry about that.
It's 1-0 with a 4
Don't
point.
worry
Playing the
about
A's.
that.
No, they're playing the A's today.
1-0.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Angels. Big.
All right, so
I'm
we're taking.
gambling again, guys.
So we're taking the A's.
I'm
just-
not.
We need to make. We need to make
Yeah,
a
we're
parlay.
doing the
Fine.
Fade Tony
I
Phony.
just want to point out it's a 3:37 first pitch for that game.
Yeah, it is.
So our official winning Wednesday will be the opposite of what Tony says, or we're going to put up what Tony says and the audience is supposed
Well,
to
this
fade
is
it.
the research that went into the Stugotz thing. We're doing it too early. We can't do the games too early because this goes up later tonight. And we are doing in the morning. This is our DraftKings brainstorming meeting on how we get to a winning Wednesday when every time I ask, hey, did you guys win that parlay? The answer is, well, we started. And we're like, loss, wrong, loser. Now Tony is saying Angels big, but that's a 337 game. So now we got to do a different fade Tony Fony.
Right. We need to get as many people in the tent as possible to win money with us. That's the idea. So Tony, back to the drawing board.
Luckily I have one.
Tony, can you give it a little more thought?
Yeah, no, this one, I've thought about this one very quickly. Sonny Gray tonight. 6-3 with a 3.1 ERA. Yeah, against the Dodgers. You get a little juice with this one. The Twins.
I think the Dodgers have covered.
Never
the
bet
Twins
against
are gonna
the
get hot.
Dodgers.
Sonny Gray
The Twins
is
are
a
getting
twin.
hot.
Sonny
I think
Gray
the Dodgers
was
have
good
covered
5
8 straight
years
run
ago.
lines.
They're
Tony
due.
thinks we're still in 2015 with
God
Sonny Gray.
damn it.
They're due.
But he's a twin.
All right, so this is the fade.
Twinkies.
All right, so
Wait,
if
he's
it's
a
the
twin.
fade Tony Phony, then it's Dodgers big there, correct, Mike? If it's the fade Tony Phony,
Yeah, we got to lay the juice on the Dodgers, but it's okay. It's a parlay,
But
so we're
what-
going to do it.
are we
Is there
gonna
a
do-
club? Are you in a nightclub? There's a strobe light going on.
Weird.
this is the fade Tony Phony
Oh, it's a production,
DraftKings
okay.
nightclub. Let's go. I want more fun around this thing. If we're going to lose, I don't want the laughter to be gone.
Lose.
Man, these guys suck at this. I'd like there to
All
be a
right.
party around the loss.
So we're taking the Dodgers to get the run line win. All
Yes,
right.
we now the run line, Mike, because perhaps people don't bet baseball. If we're teaching them, I don't know how rudimentary you want to do this, but the run line, the Dodgers need to win by more than 1 run.
And they've done so at like an epic pace recently.
They're due.
Yep.
You don't want to get in front of a streak, winning or losing.
Just so that people know where my ignorance resides on this, because I am pretending to know one to be an expert. I find the run line to be a truly terrible bet. I am exasperated by the number of baseball games that are decided by 1 run.
Yeah, but when you're staring at 305 to win 100 and the run line can take it down to 155 to win 100, it's awfully tempting. I mean, it is.
But I don't.
But understand, if you win by a run, you lose. Okay.
I'd like to. What I don't know, and our gambling is not expertise. What I don't know is it a good bet? Is the run line bet in baseball actually a good bet? Because it seems to
Well,
me like it might be a bit of a sucker's bet.
I think the Dodgers have won 9 straight run lines. So
Trend must end.
is this ABBA?
Trend must end.
Yes.
So
trend
what?
is your friend, but the trend must end.
Yeah.
All right.
He's
So
right.
well, we've got rhymes. I appreciate that
No
because it
problem.
made me
Thank you,
think of what Dan Campbell did last night.
But we need it to be a parlay. So that's
Good
just
thing
one.
I got another one.
You have another one? Good.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A phony.
Paul Goldschmidt is
Yeah.
a Cardinal,
He's a Hall of Famer.
and
that
he is
dude.
ripping right now.
Might be the
He
NL
is.
MVP.
Yeah. He's
Game
not.
one again.
But he's going against Kyle Freeland and the Rockies.
Oh my! No, wait a minute.
That's right.
The Rockies pounded him last night.
That's right.
The
Going for
Cardinals.
2 in a row.
The Cardinals are going to be a giant favorite in that
I'm
game.
all over the Rockies.
So now we got to go Cardinals run line as well because Cardinals are going to be a giant favorite in that game.
They're not a huge fave. Minus 165. All right, but the run line is a nice traditional minus 110. So that is our 2 legs. Boy, we are chalk.
Okay, we are always chalk and we always lose. And Tony,
I'm underdog here,
Tony,
Dan.
Tony,
Dan, I'm the
no,
underdog
Tony,
here.
Tony.
What do you want me to do? I picked you 2 winners, 2 teams that if you parlayed those 2 together, you'd be making a lot of money.
Price is out to round 320, plus 320.
Not bad. So we take it.
Chris Cote, are you giving us any expertise here? Please add a little to the nightclub flavor of this. The phony Tony, the fade Tony Phony.
I'm riding Fony all night long, Dano.
I've been doing it for months.
No longer the local hour, but I have wanted to get to 2 days of Mike Ryan on what's going on as college football approaches, as I see The Rock involved with the University of Miami's facilities. And we are in Miami right in the middle of this giant seismic change of we're going to go from amateurism to this is all made for television minor league football. Never mind the XFL, any of the other leagues. College football is the closest thing to king sport, and now Miami's in the game with giant locker rooms and spending and The Rock, and it's big and it's loud and it's ridiculous. It's funny because Miami's one of the teams spilling money over the bar as everyone realizes conference realignment. It's a free-for-all. Lane Kiffin's going to join us to talk about some of the free-for-all here. But the big business of big business has arrived. And Mike, you've already seen the University of Miami is already a new place physically.
Yeah, they touched up the. You said there were gigantic locker rooms on the internet. People are pointing out how narrow it is in some spots. It's the old Green Tree locker room that you're used to, just with brand new state of the art lockers, and there's a cool LED lighting system, and it looks really cool. Keep in mind that this is just a placeholder. The university announced construction on a $100 million brand new football facility that'll make those locker rooms look like something of the past. And this is just to keep in line with the times, because I don't know if you've seen some of the locker rooms out there. I know LSU has ridiculous ones. I wish I had an LSU locker as my bed.
They should be spas. Like they should be these giant, amazing, top of the line. It's a football factory where these guys are giving their bodies over to the business. They should work in an environment that is always taking care of their bodies.
Right. These are some of the luxurious amenities that you should get, especially if you're not actually getting paid for play. It's all about what kind of amenities can I get for my experience. And for far too long, University of Miami was tailing far behind, but it's allowed for this weird banter on social media for all sorts of fan bases to post photos of their locker rooms thinking that they're hot shit. And some of them are covered in Formica. I mean, Florida, what are you doing? You don't come into a locker room fight with Formica. You just
put it on the poll, Roy. Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Do you ever come in a locker room fight with Formica?
Miami is catching up on facilities. And one of the things they're doing, in addition to the 5-story building you referenced, they're extending the indoor practice facility. They're doubling it. They're extending it by 150 feet. 50%, I should say.
Most indoor practice facilities aren't the full traditional 100 yards.
Right.
So they're making it bigger. You mentioned that the Rock is now involved. The Rock has had his name on that on that locker room for quite some time, and now they finally got around to just keeping up with the times. But the new facility should put that one to shame.
I guess the thing that I was wanting to talk about is that as soon as we all realized the pandemic, oh my God, it's a total free-for-all on tens of millions of streaming dollars, as live sports is a monster. All the streaming giants want to get involved in owning Saturdays. Are you guys not super amazed that what now sprouts up around these factory-built bodies that need cryogenic chambers, because these are now factories that are, the employees are getting more valuable, and you must give them opulence. You must make it feel palatial and make it bigger than the next guy's facility, because you want to at least look like you care for your human being more than the other guys care for their human being, because you've got more money than they do.
But amazed in what way? Like, why would I be? I mean, that's where college football has shifted to. It's been there for a while in some schools, and now it's everywhere, including here.
It has just like Miami's just getting to the locker room game and the palatial facility game. This has been college football for, it kind of feels like Oregon was the first one to make a really big deal of their facilities.
But Clemson built like a, I think, $60 million indoor facility that had the slide in it that the lady broke her ankle on sliding down.
Is that where they baptize players?
Unsure. I think are you referring to the Auburn basketball thing this weekend?
No. I know for a fact Clemson was baptizing players on the practice field.
Well, that wasn't what I was going to mention, but I've heard people say like already their indoor facility is lacking some of the amenities that the brand new ones have. Like the keeping up with the Joneses has accelerated
Miami
so quickly.
Miami just got new facilities, and they're not good enough. They got it was a big deal when we got our indoor practice facility. That happened when Mark Richt was here. Now they've already realized it's outdated. Yeah, it's outdated, and they need to make a new investment. Dan, you mentioned the pandemic. I think even larger than NIL, the pandemic made everybody know, and it fast-tracked, hey, this is a business, because they played college football during that. They moved hell and high water to make sure that there was.
They moved mountains.
They moved mountains. What it was, come hell or high water. Yeah,
There was hell and high water
So
around the
hell or
mountains,
high
and they
water or
moved the
something.
mountains.
You seize on my lack of confidence. I appreciate you for that. I'll keep that in mind in my back pocket. I'll get you back, asshole. But they just gave everybody an extra year of eligibility, and they said we're getting this season in no matter what. There were conferences like the Big Ten and the Pac-12 that had their reservations.
The Ivy League didn't even play.
Ivy League ended up playing a spring season. So did some of the lower divisions in football. It's still Division II to me. I'm still going to call it that. And they just pushed forward. And then everybody knew, okay, there was a negotiation with the players. You're going to give us an extra year of eligibility. And now it's just a cash grab. I don't know if you've seen the numbers. I know, Jess, this has interest to you because it is Notre Dame adjacent, but the Big Ten is no longer going to have a presence on ESPN. It looks like they negotiated a deal with all the major networks except for ESPN. And the draw right now is to just open up new markets. And it doesn't matter about travel anymore. You could be in San Francisco. That's why Sanford has some appeal. Or you can be in Miami if you are a Midwestern conference. It doesn't matter anymore. Let's open up TV markets.
I want to talk about being in the middle of what is not just an evolution, it's a revolution. You're seeing it's just as everyone scampers for the dollars, and we're going to get Chief Mercenary on here, Lane Kiffin, to cut through it because he's already told you, yep, going to be like baseball, payroll. The best teams have the best bankrolls, and now we're going to business. But when you guys say and skip right past baptized on the field, and I don't even do this to mock religion, I thought it was understood. I thought we all knew that the Clemson football program lived in some sort of lifestyle bubble that could be culty. A giant lifestyle bubble of cultiness.
I was aware of it.
That's
Yeah.
every college football fandom, I think. Also, Dan, I
But
thought
Texas A&M is next level.
Yeah.
Well,
Texas A&M is a cult, and it's very disarming when they reply back, yes, we are a cult.
I thought you were going to mention the New York Times controversial article that New York's hottest nightclub is now the Catholic Church. But no, you went the other way. Yeah, I mean, sports fandom in general is extremely culty, Dan.
I thought Clemson and baptisms on the field, and what I'm saying is lifestyle campus. That once Clemson got in the game of we are no longer a laughingstock, it was very recently Clemson's always going to Clemson. Then Dabo gets there and he comes shouting of miracles, and they're doing baptisms on the field, and one of their coaches is speaking slave language or whatever it is that got a coach in trouble at Clemson. Because they had something that Dabo's been stepping in and again as a sort of religious leader. And I understand what you're saying, but I've assumed that Clemson has had the best facilities. Like once anybody gets to the top, they get the best facilities because they become lifestyle campuses.
Yeah, like Clemson has invested a lot into their football program that they historically weren't really keeping up with the top teams until after Dabo was hired and promoted as the head coach. And that all happened while I was a student there. 2012, 2013 was kind of the turning point. They got a couple really good 5-star recruits, starting with CJ Spiller, and then Taj Boyd was really good. Sammy Watkins was a huge recruit. And then DeAndre Hopkins.
That was an all-star team. Clemson became right there. Clemson became big time. We can challenge Alabama power.
It kind of slowly, the really high-rated recruits started kind of slowly coming in. Dabo was a really good coach. Brent Venables became one of the best coordinators in college football. And so as they became more successful and saw how good it was for business, they put more and more money into it, won a national championship. And I think the school has probably seen, I've heard friends of mine who are younger and live in South Carolina say how much harder it is to get into Clemson now because so many people apply from out of state. So it's good for business. It's good for the university because when I went to Clemson, no one in Chicago knew where it was or what it was. And now I don't think there's a single high schooler that doesn't know Clemson because of the football team.
Stugotz, I love after all these years that all of us in this room have seen the way that college sports again and again, from becoming the truly giant business it could have been, was always stuffed under the repressed skirt of academia, not trying to become a business. And like the skirt has blown up off of this. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing to think of the idea of like Mark Emmert squatting to keep all this down because we can't get to the business because we've got to do these bogus NCAA rules that nobody but the NCAA cares about as like business leaks everywhere.
I am certain that Greg Cote hates today's college football because he thinks books is enough. Room and books, they're enough for a kid to go break his body and create millions of dollars for college universities. But Dan, I miss it already. I miss the old college football. I miss wondering if every coach is cheating. I miss wondering what programs are doing to lure certain players.
But now you know they're all cheating, right?
Yeah, I know, but I miss. Yeah, but there was always like some doubt with certain programs. And now there's none. And I miss those days. It's kind of like gambling. I miss, meeting a bookie in a back alley and handing him some money. I do. Now I just wire it.
I do miss the honor amongst thieves element.
Yeah,
I don't like Nick Saban openly complaining to the NCAA to enforce rules that he's been breaking for years.
I miss it.
It's mutually assured self-destruction. Like, just stop doing it.
We will get back to as soon as the players get paid. Stugotz arrives at, I don't like it. And stop it. Not everybody knock it off. I don't like the way we're doing things new now. I pine for the old style game where Mark Emmert was in charge and nobody got any money except Mark Emmert. But let's go.
No, but they were getting money. That's my point. But you were left to wonder, are they getting money?
Okay. Yes. The mystery is gone out of it. It's too naked, the commerce. Let's go to Mike Schur's stat of the day here. I don't know where he's calling us from. I don't know what the stat of the day is, but let's do it.
Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is your start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day. It is the start of the day.
It is brought to you by ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hello, Mike. Where are you joining us from today?
I'm still in New York City, Dan.
Okay.
The city's so nice, they named it twice. And because I'm in New York City, I have a Yankee stat for you. Aaron Judge, the Yankees outfielder, is 6'7", 282 pounds. That means that he is taller and or weighs more than the following athletes: PJ Tucker, Draymond Green, Travis Kelce, Jason Taylor, TJ Watt, JJ Watt, Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Von Miller, Jadeveon Clowney, George Kittle, Myles Garrett, Mean Joe Green, Ted Hendricks, the Mad Store, and Rob Gronkowski. And he is 2 pounds lighter than Aaron Donald.
Wow.
So he's big. Your stat of the day is he's
a
big.
large man.
Okay, so we're calling in. You're one of the great comedy minds of our time. You're calling in, and your stat of the day is that Aaron Judge is big.
I just don't think people truly understand how big he is. He's bigger than Myles Garrett. The Yankees have an outfielder who's bigger than Myles, significantly bigger, taller, and weighs more. I also have a bonus stat of the day for you.
Oh,
wow. The bonus stat of the day?
Yes, yeah.
This is courtesy of Samir Califf at Defector. This year, Boston Red Sox pitcher Chris Sale has broken 3 bones and made 2 starts. He has more broken bones than starts in 2022.
Comedic expertise that we were looking for right now.
Excellent.
Aaron Judge is having an historic season to put him within 1 of the major league lead for home runs since 2018. That's right. Aaron Judge does not have the most home runs in Major League Baseball since 2018. Mike, who would you guess is the leader at 147 home runs?
Since 2018, Nelson Cruz.
Not on the list.
Good guess, though. Always a good guess.
Always put it on the poll, please, Roy. Is Nelson Cruz always a good guess?
The answer is Eugenio Suarez.
Who?
What?
Really?
Shock.
There is real good for him.
Who is
There
he?
is real and genuine
Former
shock
Red,
in the
now he's a
room.
Mariner.
Mike, before you get out of here, because I want to get your thoughts in a second on what's going on with college football and the business of college football, to see if you have any interesting curiosities that have been stimulated by all this conference play and TV. It's going to be made for TV minor league football. But before we do that, Mike, Stugotz was at the Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Stugotz has been showing everybody some video from the Hall of Fame, and in one of the videos, it appearing to eat a small fruit cup, Stugotz thrust his camera in this Hall of Fame sacred room that he shouldn't have been in the face of one Ted Hendricks.
Yeah.
And what he shouted at him, because he did not know it was Ted Hendricks, is introduce yourself. And I thought it was a heady play.
It's the way I had to do it. I was thinking about it. I was sweating. I didn't know who it was. He hasn't aged well. And I said,
oh, come on.
He didn't look like the Ted Hendricks I grew up watching naturally. How could he? I mean, it's 40 years later. And so I said, introduce yourself to the audience, you know?
Where does this video exist? Have you filled out any of the super follow paperwork?
I'm getting to it. I mean,
Mike, what are your thoughts on what's going to happen to college football this year?
I have no idea. This is very far from my area of expertise. The only thing that I really understand or follow in college football is the saga of whether Notre Dame is going to join a conference, which I know you have talked about ad nauseum. My wife went to Notre Dame, and so I'm a Michigan fan. I was born in Ann Arbor, and so I've rooted against Notre Dame my whole life. And I married into like the #1 Notre Dame family in the continental United States. So I have taken an interest in Notre Dame football, and I believe that the attitude, the traditional attitude, is no way, no how. But I feel like the tide is turning, and they're like at some point they're just gonna have to. I think. I don't know. This is not really. I have no information for you that you haven't gotten already from Skip or any number of other people. But it just feels like there's this inevitable draw into like 4 or 5 mega conferences, and that everybody, including Notre Dame, is going to have to be part of one of them, because that's going to be the only way. That's going to be the only path forward.
I don't know about that, Mike. Since you brought up Notre Dame, are you at New York City's hottest nightclub right now, the Catholic Church?
Are you referring to my background here?
No, I'm referring to the
rectory?
controversial New York Times piece yesterday that New York's hottest nightclub is the Catholic Church.
Oh, yes. I saw the headline. I did not read it. I don't know.
that's what I
Who
do.
knows what those Times pieces that go viral every so often are just like, what are we doing here? Why? Why are we all talking about this? Why did they write it, and why are we talking about it? What was the point of that piece? I didn't read it.
I guess it's like
youths are getting interested in Catholicism.
It's like there's like maybe a handful of people that are trendy that live in New York that have converted to Catholicism recently. So we're going to write a New York Times article about it.
Is it one of those New York Times pieces where someone writes this trend piece that turns out to be just like 2 of that person's friends have become Catholics?
That's what I've seen a lot of people that have called it that. Yes.
Mike, see you later. We appreciate the stats of the day, although I don't know if you feel, horrified that Mike Ryan emerged with a stat that was better than both of your stats.
That's a great stat. First of all, it's not better than the fact that Chris Sale broke 3 bones and made 2 starts,
Yeah,
but that's a great stat.
The judge won. I mean, poor judgment.
Yes, but let's do Chris Sale though. So you've got a broken wrist from a bike accident. You've got a fractured rib cage, right? You've got
he broke his rib in February. He broke his pinky on a comebacker in his second start, and then while recuperating from the pinky healing, he broke his wrist in a bike accident and is now done for the year. It's been a great season.
He pitched 5.2 innings this season, and he pitched 42.2 innings the season before that. But Chris Sale, as a Boston pitcher, you had that magical 2-year run, did you not? Magical 18 months.
If you go back and actually look at it, it's not the most magical. It's not as magical as you think. He was on the mound in the 9th inning when they closed out the Dodgers in 2018, and everybody remembers it as a magical season. He actually didn't pitch that great that year. And he signed an extension, signed a 5-year, $145 million extension after 2019. He then immediately had Tommy John surgery and missed all of 2020, which is the COVID shortened season.
But
Then he threw 42 innings in 2021 and 5 innings this year. So it's been $90 million for 47 innings since he signed his extension.
Yeah, but you did get the 2 years in 17 and 18. You did get 2 years where he was right around a 2.3 ERA and not injured, by the way.
No, he was very good. The reason he got the extension is because he was very good. Joe Posnanski's been writing about this recently about like what counts as a good contract. Like Jason Hayward just got released from the Cubs and he was paid $184 million, including money next year that they're just going to give him to go away. And the question is like, is that a good contract? He didn't play very well for them. He never hit well for them. He was a good base runner and a good outfielder, but they won that World Series. And apparently in that rain delay, before they came back in Game 7, he gave the big speech that like rallied the team. And so the question is like, is that a good contract?
Yes.
And I think most Cubs fans would say yes, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So
I think all of the contract math in that sport is changing, where what you're paying for with these 15-year contracts and the Soto money is, can you give me 4 or 5 really rocket star years and I'll do what, and then it'll look at the end like Chris Sale does, because I remember the people making the arguments on behalf of what a good acquisition that was for those 2 years.
yeah, I was one of those people. In fact, I get mocked relentlessly on my text thread that I have with Bill Simmons, which again, Dan, you're more than welcome to join the Boston Sports text thread I have going with Michael
Would you
O'Malley.
ask him,
Simmons.
get to the bottom
Anytime
of
you
this.
want.
He hasn't been returning my calls. Get to the bottom of this. Ask him in the
I will.
text. Tell him I'm trying to reach him. Why is he not returning my calls?
Don't do that.
I will. But the point
Don't
is
do
that I get mocked because I was very much in favor of this
Desperate.
extension when they signed it. I thought that it was a great move because he was like 29 and he had pitched really well and he was an ace. And so I was like, yeah, sure, throw the money at him. Why not? And it's been a total disaster. So,
but is it a good contract though? Is what I'm saying. Like if you get, is the new math going to be, if I get 3 years in a championship out of you, if I get 3 great years, we're going against the Dodgers. They've got the regional TV money. We're going to just strip this down to bare bones of, oh, wow, we've been underpaying all of these guys. The stars, Soto's going to get, Trout's going to be cheap in a few years. Giancarlo Stanton was just the first of these. Like everybody's realized that the money's poured all over the place. So if you do get somebody who makes you relevant the way Hayward did, is it a good contract?
Well, I think potentially, yes. The problem with Sale is all the good stuff he did was before the contract.
Correct.
So the contract is a pure extension. But I think that what you're going to see, this is my prediction. If you want my prediction, I think there are going to be more contracts like the one Scherzer signed for the Mets that are like 3 years, $160 million. Like I think that people are going to go crazy money short years. Like that has started to happen now is for some of the older guys like Scherzer. But I think that you're going to start seeing that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if someone offered like Ohtani or Soto or something like $200 million for 4 years. And the players would say like, okay, I'll make $200 million. I'll still be a free agent. Soto would be a free agent when he's 29 or 30 again. So he could sign another deal and he would have already made that money. I think like Carlos Correa's deal in Minnesota, it was a 3-year deal for like $100 million. He has an opt-out after year 1 and year 2. So he can leave whatever he wants. And I think that that's going to start providing the players with the money they want and the teams with the flexibility they want, so they don't get caught with these deals where they owe people $50 million at the end of the year. That's Greg Cote calling me.
Oh,
on
a
my
hotel line.
I love it.
A hotel landline.
Mike is right, though, by the way. That extension was 2020. They gave him the extension off the good years. Since then, he's made 14 appearances.
Okay, but let's do it another way. Yes, of course, that doesn't end up being a good contract. But Jessica, Hayward's one of the worst contracts in sports. Like Hayward was
won a World Series.
The pep talk, the rain delay pep talk.
Worth every
World
penny.
Series.
Yep.
He gave them a pep talk because he knew what it was. Mike was right. He knew what it was to be on a winning team, to be a champion. And the Cubs needed that in that moment because they were losing momentum. Joe Madden screwed up the rotation. We don't have to go back into the Joe Madden thing again, Dan.
Yep.
Do you want me to talk about Joe Madden again?
All worth it. It makes it all worth it. One of the worst. I think of Jason Hayward. I think of terrible contract. But yes, you've got that emotional story. And
Pep talk.
The Cubs stink again. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate the time. Call us from all over the world.
I'll see you tomorrow.
You're right, Dan.
I'm just disturbed by us arriving at a point where the Jason Hayward contract can be a good contract because he made a speech. The contracts. I am now the guy complaining about money in other people's pockets.
But a World Series winning speech, Dan. Big difference.
Where are you putting that Ted Hendricks video?
Super Twitter followers.
Introduce yourself.
It's such a good move. Introduce yourself to the
We could use about 3 more minutes here.
3 more minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. I just bailed. Okay.
Like we're at that like 34, 35. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
the first one was like 39, so let's try to.
That's fine. Let's keep this short here. Do you have a back in my day, Greg?
No. I do have a bit, but back in my days are Tuesdays only.
Got a different benchmark.
Wednesday,
All
Dan.
right, so it is
Tell 'em, Greg.
Wednesdays.
Yep.
Okay,
You're consistent.
So wait,
I mean-
I fear, Chris. Do you know anything that's happening here? Because I fear leaving your father untethered. Last time we did that, it was a taped bit that we winced our way through. He says he's got a bit. Do you know anything about this? We can't go this in. We can't throw this into the show unvetted.
I
can we?
do know about this. This is a cause that he's tried to pick up. It's a Jalen Rose cause that my dad's just turned it into a narcissistic thing.
Oh, you're talking about the podcast.
Oh, I thought that's the bit you're talking. I mean, how many bits do you have in your holster?
The podcast is Mount Gregmore oriented, and because we have a big petition drive at change.org to change the name of Mount Rushmore to Mount Gregmore. It's
I mean,
really
he's
taken
taking
off.
Jalen's thing, and it's just like, oh look,
Yeah, and
Mount
it's
Gregmore. He just
really
wants to
taken
say,
off.
he just wants to say Mount Gregmore. He's not actually for the cause.
Well, I am,
Yeah. Jalen opened the door
What
for
is
you.
the cause, Greg? We could have. What is the cause?
Mount Rushmore is built on
oh,
stolen
for
land.
the love of God, yes.
I'm sorry, Mr. Anti-Native Americans. I'm sorry over here. It was stolen land, and the U.S. Supreme Court said so and gave the Lakota Indians $17 million in the 1980s. Not to mention 2 of the 4 presidents immortalized were slave owners. So there are many reasons to change the name of Mount Rushmore.
But
as
Dad,
Jalen
To
Rose,
your name, though.
But
to
Dad,
your
to
name.
Mount Gregmore.
But
right?
Dad,
wrong
you're
with
right.
that?
But
It's
Dad,
opportunity.
my dad's idea on the Greg Cote show was let's really push for Mount Gregmore to be the new name. And then Yeti had to come in and like tell him all that stuff he just said.
No, obviously I knew that. It's in the description of the petition. If you read it, I knew all that stuff.
You drew it up.
Yeah, and as I mentioned in the petition, none of the dark past or sins associated with Mount Rushmore are associated with Mount Gregmore.
Is it still on the same land?
We can't
Yeah.
have you
Well,
take the stolen
how?
Might
land.
want to move
Land
it.
No, what's going to happen is under Mount
And
Gregmore,
you're keeping the
You
president's
get
face
the land. You
under
get
Mount
the land.
under Mount Gregmore, 50% of all the profits from visitors are going to go to North Native American
That's
causes.
very nice.
Where's
of
the
you.
other 50%?
Yeah.
North American. They're
Native
going in his
American
pocket.
Native American
So
causes.
what do you
Very
say?
nice.
Do you realize the Stugotz deal he's just making? This is the deal he just made.
Little high.
Okay,
but-
nobody gets anything for this land right now. Okay, give the land to me. I will monetize it. And
Yes.
I think the federal government gets money, right? It's a national
It
park.
does, but now
No one
50% of it's going to go to
human-
Native Americans.
Yeah.
And the 5th face on Mount Rushmore is going to be mine simply because it's called Mount Gregmore.
Duh.
Well,
Right.
now it makes sense.
Yeah.
You have a Mount
that's
Gregmore?
not the bit he was doing for today's show. Evidently. What is the bit? I'm hesitant to do any of this.
Okay.
What is the bit we're doing right now?
The bit, if you choose to do it, is my Mount Gregmore. And as we all know, Mount Rushmore is a top 4. Mount Gregmore is a top 5 plus honorable mentions. I have
top
available.
six.
We don't have any of those here.
I want it. I don't care what the topic is.
All right, so it's
is it a top
but
5
it's-
or is it a Mount Gregmore? Are those the same thing?
It's a Mount Gregmore of overrated foods.
But is it top?
We literally just did this yesterday.
No.
I thought you did fajitas or
Give
something.
the man a chance.
No, you did.
Fajitas were overrated.
did smells, taste, the whole thing.
you did
Yes.
foods that smell
Yeah.
better and then let you down.
Right.
My category is totally
Yeah,
different.
this is all totally
It's
different.
overrated foods.
I insist. What I smell is not a fajita, my friends. What I smell is the top 5 disguised as a Mount Gregmore.
Mount Gregmore.
And you're not going to sneak it past me. Which is this? Are we going from the bottom?
Yeah, yeah.
Number 5?
Yeah.
Find
No,
out
we start
Greg's
with
Mount Gregmore.
we
Coming
start-
up next.
We got to find him. We got to figure out. This is Greg Cote's nemesis. We don't know if he's dead or not. Somebody owes a $50 fine if he's alive.
It's Mike, by the way.
It's Chris Cote, I think. I don't
But
know.
Mike delivered the news on air.
Who?
I mean,
We do not know.
Oh, but Chris cleaned it up that it was
Cortez
a
and Chris
tandem
split it,
effort.
I think.
Yeah.
All right.
What are you trying to do, man?
We have a chain of
25
command
apiece.
here. We have a chain of command.
We are looking at a maximum $50 fine
Of all people.
because of something that happened in the sloppiness of the first 2 hours. If you do not know the backstory and are just joining us live on YouTube, we found out moments ago we were going live. It's been a bit of a mess. Greg Cote of the Miami Herald is in on a Wednesday. He does not have his back in my day because it is not a Tuesday. Those are only for Tuesday.
Yep.
Damn right.
Although he's been in plenty of Tuesdays recently without
That's
him.
right. No, whatever.
Debatable. Yeah.
Greg Cote is in, and we have to get to a Mount Gregmore. He has suggested that Jalen Rose is right. Mount Rushmore should come tumbling down because of all of the reasons cited by Jalen Rose, including the stolen property of Native Americans. And Greg thinks that land should now be given to him with his face on it and create a Mount Gregmore instead. He is right. The Native Americans have been wronged, and Greg Cote should profit off of that 50-50 his way.
Don't
deal.
mislead the public.
Exactly.
I'm not. That is exactly what's happened here. I'm not. What do you mean?
I'm not profiting.
You said it was going to be 50-50. What do you mean you're not profiting?
There's this
said
wayward
50% of the
50%
profits.
that's
Right.
just floating out there.
50 under Mount Gregmore,
Right.
50% of profits from visitors are going to go to Native American causes.
Where's
Right,
the other
and the other
50% go?
The other 50 is kept by the U.S. government, which still owns the land. I'm just changing the name. I'm
You
not
wanted
buying
your
the mountain.
You wanted,
Very
your,
nice
you
of
wanted
you.
your face on there too.
Well, the fifth face is going to be the namesake of the new Mount Gregmore.
I mean, he's giving 50% of the
Right.
revenues to the Native Americans. He
Right.
deserves to at least have a face. The
And-
rest goes to the government.
And on the Greg Cote Show podcast, we get into all this. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. There's a petition drive associated with this. It's taken off like Richmond took Virginia. It's just doing great. And go sign the petition.
What is taken off? How many votes? How many signatures?
I believe, I haven't looked lately. Well, I did like a minute ago, but I think we're nearing 100 signatures.
100,000?
Yeah,
Landmark, yeah.
100. You know, we're on the road to 100,000. We're on the road to 100,000. Thank you. Jess, have you signed yet?
Are you on the road to 100? Are you over 100?
We're on the road to 100 right now, but it's the Autobahn. We're speeding there.
Yes.
It's like a bullet
But you're-
train to
you're
100.
Not 100,000. You're not yet at 100 signatures. You're getting there.
Yeah.
You're going there quickly.
Fast.
Okay.
Yes. By the time we finish talking about this in 10 seconds, we may have been to 100
All
already.
right, we will try to locate Charles Bricker and find out whether he's alive and repair his relationship with Greg Cote. Greg Cote's been made uncomfortable by all of this, Mike. He doesn't want to do any of it. It's sort of happening to him. He feels bad that Charles
He's
Bricker.
made me uncomfortable for the last like 10 minutes of this podcast.
There'll be no locating Charles Bricker if Charles Bricker is indeed
He
dead.
said thank you to that.
Problem is, Greg spoke freely, assuming that Charles Bricker had died,
Yeah.
But
knowing-
feeling bad.
but knowing that those words would never land with Charles Bricker.
Yeah.
And now it appears as though Charles Bricker might still be alive.
Our beef was 30 years ago. It was real at one time, but I don't harbor
Wait,
grudges.
you say, Greg,
No, I'm not a
Yes,
grudge
you do.
harborer.
Greg, you're going to send that. You're going to tweet out a photo.
Do you think I not have ears? I heard you.
You're going to tweet out a photo. You said you're going to go home as soon as the show's
Yes.
over, and you're going to take a photograph of his pics in the Sunset. No,
Going 0-14 against the spread.
That's
Yes.
how you mend fences, Dan.
I
He's
knew-
trying, that's what he's trying to do.
Right.
You buried the hatchet that he hung up on your wife that one time.
I've never forgiven him for that. That was just
Nor
plain
should
rude.
you.
You
Yeah.
just said you don't harbor grudges.
Well, it's a mini grudge. I don't harbor a grudge to the degree that I
Much.
want him dead. I hope he's alive and well. Believe me,
Do you?
sort of.
Maybe just alive.
if you're just joining us on YouTube and have no access to what has happened before now, the backstory is this. Greg Cote harbors no grudges, but in his office is a yellowed newspaper from 30 years ago that show that his nemesis, Charles Bricker, who may or may not be dead, went 0-14 one week, picking games against the spread. Charles Bricker, the greatest source of animosity that Greg Cote has toward one Charles Bricker is born of. He treated Greg Cote poorly, condescendingly, because he thought he knew more about football than Greg Cote did.
He treated just about everybody poorly, actually. Yeah.
But also, as an added bonus, he thought that your coverage of football was beneath his coverage of football.
Which was his standard rationale. He also thought that of people who covered tennis with him against him as well.
He's a big tennis guy.
Yeah.
But your opinions are different. If he's alive right now listening to this, you'd feel more comfortable talking about what's the nature of your discomfort? What do we need to apologize to Charles Bricker about if indeed he's alive and we can locate him?
I don't apologize for anything. I do regret the idea that I wished him dead, because this whole thing began when I threw out there totally for fun, would you kill someone if you knew you could get away with it? That's how this whole thing began.
Great game.
Okay,
Right.
yes.
Yeah.
If you're just joining us,
Fun
I left out that part that, yes, just for fun, Greg Cote decided that today what he wanted to do was ask the question of people, who would you kill just for fun if there were no consequences, you could get away with it? Not only did he offer that up as the topic, he then nominated immediately Charles Bricker.
Well, but not in the sense that I wanted him dead, though. See,
But it is in the sense that you wanted him.
No, not really.
Jokingly.
Well, it's in the sense that you would murder him and be able to get away with it.
I'm burying myself here. No, I don't want.
And also Charles Bricker. You're burying yourself.
I
and
hope Charles Bricker is alive and well.
Okay, why are Jessica
Alive.
and Mike Ryan laughing right now in the back room?
Because following yet another thread from earlier in the show where Jess didn't really have much knowledge of Rick Riley, we have found an old Notre Dame Student Magazine article that says, quote, I used to read Rick Riley's column every week in Sports Illustrated.
Which is not true. And either I was misquoted or I accidentally said something that was not true.
You're quoting.
Wow.
Wait a minute. You accidentally
You've
lied.
been caught.
I've never read a single Rick Riley column.
You were quoted.
So he's never made you laugh either.
I think I was trying to say, like, one could read Rick Riley's Sports Illustrated column. I was making the point that now, like, people who work in sports media go on social media and put out their opinions, whereas, like, 20 years ago, you'd read someone's column. I mean, Greg knows, he's a columnist.
Thank you.
You'd read someone's
Correct.
column, like, once a week to get their thoughts on something, and now you can get people's thoughts
Instantly.
24/7.
Right.
52 weeks a year, Dan.
Yes.
But I think it accidentally turned into, I used to read Rick Riley's column in Sports Illustrated, which could not be further from the truth.
Accidentally?
According to this article, you volunteered this tidbit. You weren't asked about Rick Riley directly.
Jessica,
You
how is-
misquoted. It
Jessica,
seems like
how
you
is your
misquoted.
line?
Yeah.
Flat out
Jessica,
lie.
where is your
This is
line
a
falling
lie.
apart like this? What
Were
is
you angling for a
Was-
job?
yeah.
No,
Someone
this
was
was
looking for a
after I
job.
worked at Sports Illustrated. This is in the Notre Dame Alumni Magazine from like 2020 or 2019.
Are you claiming that these are made up quotes that somebody fabricated? I think Rick Riley was accused of doing some of that. Now that I think about it, there were
Whoa.
some accusations there
Whoa.
Really?
of
Was
embellishment.
was that Ed the
That was
horse?
Mr. Ed.
Whoa.
Ed the horse.
Whatever, you
Wilbur.
And the horse.
Ed, yeah, the famous Ed the horse. That's what everybody called him.
And the horse.
It's totally fair, though, Chris. That is such a dated reference. What difference does it make if it's 1950s
Like Rick
Mr.
Riley.
Ed
He has a title.
or
Ed the horse.
Ed the
Mr.
horse?
Ed.
I used to watch Ed the horse every week.
Damn right. I
We,
did too.
we never actually got your Mount Gregmore.
We're not
yeah.
going to, and we never got Charles Bricker either. We never got yesterday to Stugotz' top 5 quarterbacks who need to win this year.
Oh, wow. What a big hour.
We've got a lot to get to, and we've also got Smetty has her top 5 critiques of yesterday's show when she was out, things that we did wrong. I don't know exactly what the list is, but top 5 criticisms that the show deserves that we did yesterday.
I don't know if this is just me, but I get so frustrated listening to the show when I'm not in there. It's almost a painful experience for me to actively listen to this show and hear things like, no, that's not accurate. No, that's not right. How could you forget this? It is a painstaking experience.
Well, I
You
got
should
5
be here
of them.
then. I mean,
The top 5 should also be changed to Mount Gregmore.
Oh, get out of here.
It
really?
should, yeah.
And I do have fire imaging for it.
All right.
Mount Gregmore
It
is
is
the
the top 5. That's what
Thank
it
you.
is.
Yeah.
Well, what's the fire
Yeah.
imaging? I want to start there, but the reason that I want Mike to share with the audience that you're gambling again, and Stugotz was yelling at you during the break because he says, "Who the hell is betting Korean baseball?" Because you lost a bet on Korean baseball that you were okay losing because the bat flip of the hitter was so epic to you that you're like, you know what, take my money. It was worth it. If you're going to beat me that way. And your bat flip is going to be you taking the biggest swing I've ever seen, falling to a knee, and as the ball leaves the park, just winging the bat over the dugout from your knee.
He did it in one motion, hit the homer and released the bat.
Yeah, swung. His swing generated so much power that he fell to a knee naturally from the swing, and the bat, it was almost like the follow through.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it may still be in the air.
It looks like he gets electrocuted by the contact the ball makes with the bat, and he has to like just fling the bat.
It is how a bat would leave your
Jung-hoon of the
hands if
Lotte
it was
Giants.
made of electricity. You're absolutely right. If that is right, Chris. That is not a weapon discarded because he no longer needed it. That was somebody being struck by lightning and throwing the bat far away because they didn't want to be near lightning.
I've never seen a bat flip this good.
It's amazing.
Did it go over the dugout? Did it go over the third
It looks
base
like it's
dugout?
heading towards the third base coach.
It's still on the way up when it's out of frame. Yeah. It's still very much like way on its way up too.
It ended up in the stands, I believe. Yes, yes.
Mike, what do you have the fire imaging music for? That is the thing that we will go to because we did not organize this because we were not intending to go live.
Mount Gregmore.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you for that.
This is your bit. You have promised us a bit, and it's top 5 Mount Gregmore. What?
The Mount Gregmore of overrated foods.
excellent.
Honorable mention.
Something
totally different for us.
Okay, outside OLI.
Honorable mention. The first ballot Hall of Famers of trendy nonsense, kale and quinoa. Number 5.
Wait, you have 2 number 5s?
No, that was honorable mention.
It's the top 7.
Oh, okay.
OLI.
That's the top 7.
Yes.
This is number 5.
Number 5. Avocado toast.
Should be number 1.
Yeah, they go together like avocado and toast. Number 4.
Dad, I would argue you've never had avocado toast.
I have, actually. Yeah, I have.
Well, he showed
Good
you.
exchange.
He showed you, Chris. How about that?
You showed him and then he
How
showed
about that,
you.
Chris? You
Yes.
made your accusation, and then you were wrong.
That's a
When
Cody
have you,
fight
when
right
have
there.
you ordered that?
That's right.
When have you ordered that?
That's right.
Greg's in a mood today,
There it
man.
is. Chris,
Feeling
just
frisky.
Chris,
I mean,
you
He's the man
lose.
in
I'm
black.
gonna call my mom.
Chris,
It's evil
Go
Greg
ahead.
Cote today.
I will say this. Avocado toast is slightly better with a spritz of lemon. Number
Dark Cody.
4.
I like Cody on a Wednesday.
Number 4. Croquetas.
what?
A
Yo,
gl- a
give me
gl-
that list.
Oh,
We're turning it up.
totally
You're
bomb.
done.
A
I
glory.
agree.
I'm with you.
Yes,
I'm with you.
Yes,
I'm gonna
list
kick
is
your
racist.
ass.
That's a great one.
It's racist.
what?
A
This list.
glorified fried dumpling with stuff in it, and that mealy ham paste filling is the worst.
No, go.
You are wrong.
Do your Americas.
God,
Number
my
3.
God. Go fuck yourself.
Loaded nachos.
Loaded nachos. This is a
Now I want to fight you.
It's
I was
his
with you on the other
Gregmore.
one.
It's his Gregmore.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Loaded nachos.
I'm gonna kill you.
You gotta be shitting
I will
me.
kill you.
The more stuff on it, the softer it gets. If a nacho don't crunch, it ain't a nacho.
Oh my god.
Thank you. Number
What?
2.
Thank you. You said thank you. You have taken things as compliments 4 times.
This is the
You're not
worst list
welcome.
I've ever heard.
Number 2.
So bad.
Buffalo wings.
Oh my God, I agree with him again. That's actually good.
Let him
That's a good
explain
take.
himself.
Oh,
Let him explain
yes, I agree.
himself.
The wing itself
awful.
is great if
Yep.
it's all flat. It's the classic buffalo sauce that needs an upgrade to lemon pepper or
Yes.
garlic parm or
Agreed.
jerk seasoning or almost anything
Barbecue.
else.
So the classic buffalo wing.
Yes.
Yes. Fair.
And the number 1
He's right.
most overrated food, filet mignon. Yes, the Cadillac of steak is actually the Chevy. Filet mignon is a bland cut, which is why it's often lathered in béarnaise or peppercorn sauce. Fat equals flavor. Give me marbling. Ribeye, please. The Mount Gregmore of overrated foods.
Excellent.
Not really.
Good debut.
Not terrible.
Yeah.
Not a good
Loaded
list.
nachos and croquetas.
No, it's unbelievable. Your list
And
is so
buffalo
flawed. It's just it's half wrong.
It's all right.
So wrong.
Yeah. His list.
Stugotz, you've got your what is this list? Top 5 quarterbacks who better do it this year?
Yep, that have to do it this year, Dan.
That have to do it this year.
We did coaches yesterday, and now we have
No,
quarterbacks.
yesterday
today.
was coaches who better do it.
Yes.
Today it's quarterbacks that have to do it.
They have to do it this year.
Number 5.
Daniel Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Danny Dimes.
Good call.
I mean, he's got Dable now. He's got the guy that made Josh Allen good. There are no more excuses. Gettleman is gone. Judge is gone. He's got, some weapons now. They upgraded the offensive line. It is time for Daniel Jones to put up or shut up.
Number 4. Did you like that one? You like you like how you nailed the dismount there?
Yeah.
Put up or shut
Top
up.
Top 5 quarterbacks that need to put up or shut up.
A different list.
Yes.
Number 4.
Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Big contract, tons of talent, good running game, great offensive line. It is time to make it to the playoffs. And not only make it to the playoffs, do something once you're there. How about that?
So he made it to the playoffs last year. He had a very
do
good
something
year.
Once you're there.
He's a very good player. He's a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
He's not Daniel Jones.
So what does he have to? He just has to win a playoff game.
He's got to win a playoff game.
But he better do that now.
He has to do it now. Yeah,
But-
or
but he
like
can't do
18
it till-
weeks.
He
Yeah.
can't do it till January.
Right, that's
But
fair.
if he does,
right.
let's say he doesn't
But if
do
he
it.
doesn't make the playoffs, forget it.
Well, what does that mean?
I don't know. It's guaranteed contract.
Yep.
But you're saying the list is he's got to do it this year. If he doesn't do it this year, then he just comes back next year and they do it
He
again.
tries
next
it
year.
again. Yeah.
So he
And he'll be
doesn't
on the
have to
list
do it
again.
this year.
Yeah, he really
Consequences,
doesn't. I mean,
TBA.
he doesn't. You're right.
Technically,
Right.
this
He
is not-
doesn't. You're
okay.
right.
But if he beats
Totally fair.
he beats the Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football Week 1, it still doesn't count.
No.
It's not a
Do
make.
it in the playoffs.
It's a pretty
Yes.
terrible list. It can't be a make or break season if it's not break. It's just
It's a make or break season for Dak Prescott. You never know what Jerry's going to do at the end of a season. I mean,
He
you
got
just
to his
don't.
big contract.
Yeah.
You
All right,
think
it's your
there's a
list.
circumstance under which Dak Prescott is not their starting quarterback?
I do.
A year
Yeah.
from
Sean
now.
Payton's
Yeah,
coming in.
he's
Watch
right.
out.
Yeah, he's right.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3.
Justin Herbert.
Whoa.
He won't be there next year either.
I'm
This
tired
is your
of hearing
nachos.
how good Justin Herbert
It's the
is.
same list.
okay?
It's the same list as Cody's. It's the same
Herbert's
flaws.
better
in it.
than
Those are my
Suey.
favorite
Herbert's this. Herbert's that. You know what? Herbert's not. He's not in the playoffs. He's never in the playoffs.
Yes.
Justin Herbert, do me a favor.
and-
Get to the playoffs
Preach.
now or never.
Preach.
What do you
Yeah.
mean now or never? Now or the year
I
after
mean, he'll
that?
have 15 more years to do it after this year, but
Yeah.
I'm telling
But
him
I
to do it
thought
now.
it was make or break
But he
quarterbacks.
has
You
to
made
do it
us
in
wait
2023.
since
It is a
yesterday
make or
for this
break.
list.
It is.
Number
He's
2.
the loaded nachos of
Jalen
quarterbacks.
Hurts.
All right, he belongs there.
Thank you.
That one
Yeah,
checks
that's a
out.
good one.
This is a make it or break it year for Jalen Hurts. He has to, Dan, they have a ton of talent, perhaps the most offensive talent in the NFL. I'm tired of hearing about how good Jalen Hurts is, what a great leader Jalen Hurts is. Do me a favor. Do it now.
Or 16 weeks from now, or 17
He won't
weeks
have
from
another
now,
chance,
or
Dan.
20
This is it.
Okay, and number 1 is the obvious one.
Aaron Rodgers.
Why won't you say something nice about Aaron Rodgers?
Whoa.
I mean, now or never. Seriously, if Aaron wants to be considered one of the all-time greats, and I do realize I've left Tua off this list, but if Aaron Rodgers wants to
Did
be
you just
considered,
forget that you left Tua off this list?
well, listen, Aaron Rodgers, Dan. If you and
forgot.
I,
Did you forget that
we're
you
on
left?
the patio, okay? We've taken, some shrooms. We're hanging out.
Did you
I light up a
forget?
dog
You-
walker,
you-
and we
you
start
forgot.
discussing
He
greatest
forgot.
quarterbacks of
He
all
for- he
time.
forgot Tua was on
Aaron
the list.
Rodgers will not be in that discussion with one Super Bowl.
How did you forget?
A million
Tua?
quarterbacks have won a Super Bowl. Only the greats like Eli Manning have won 2.
Correct.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been fighting for 20 minutes.
Sports radio.
We've been waiting for that list for 24 hours, and he forgot to put Tua on it.
I did.
This,
and Tannehill.
This brings us to Jessica's complaints about yesterday's show because tell me all the things that we got wrong
It's
yesterday.
a Mount Gregmore, Dan. There's 5 of them.
All right, number 5.
You guys didn't mention the legend passing Olivia Newton-John.
73 years old. Yes,
That's
full
valid.
effort
Totally
by
fair
us.
point.
Help us
So-
clean this up, actually, because that is a voice from my childhood. Grease, one of the first movies I ever saw.
Grease was a extremely important movie to so many young people. Came out in 1978, kind of put her on the map, and then from then on, she had a legendary singing career. And I think she was an icon to a lot of people. She ended up getting breast cancer later in life and was an advocate for breast cancer research. And she was just iconic. She's Olivia
Aussie
Newton-John.
songbird.
Yeah.
You
Physical is a banger. So is Xanadu. I like Xanadu. I don't care what anybody
got 4
says.
better than that. You got 4 better than that egregious effort.
That was bad.
Number 4.
Bill Lawrence complaining about, oh, Miami's too much for me. Bill Lawrence, I know where you're staying. You told me where you're staying. If you can't handle Miami staying there, Please imagine what it's like for the rest of us. Give me a break, Bill Lawrence. He's staying in one of the nicest places in Miami Beach. Come on, Bill Lawrence.
Well, he's just afraid
like
of when the
Please.
oligarchs arrive and all of their armed guards arrive.
Number 3, turkey legs. Great to-go snack. You guys were all wrong about turkey legs.
To go snack, Rose.
Turkey
To
leg
go.
for the road. One
Fill you up for
hander.
weeks. I mean, the road.
Love a
to-go
turkey leg.
snack. Get a little turkey leg. Go on your merry way. Walk around with a little turkey leg.
Damn right.
Take a little.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, damn right?
I
Because
love turkey legs.
we were talking about, and the group was in agreement on this. The whole starting point of the conversation of foods that smell wonderful, but when you get to them, the taste does not match the scent. The Disney turkey leg is what led to that conversation. The Disney turkey
Yes.
leg seems like a disgusting thing that's a good idea right up until you hold it. If you're talking about like jerky pieces, that's something else. The Disney turkey leg is barbaric. It's a giant ostrich leg.
And I bet you don't like medieval times either, Dan.
I mean, medieval times
Walk around
you
eating
ever been
meat
there?
with your bare hands. Come on.
Have you ever been to medieval times?
I've been to those kinds of fairs.
It has to be terrible.
Renaissance
Ren fairs?
fairs.
Been
Yes, yes. I have
Been to
been.
one?
I've thrown an axe. Yes.
You all dressed
Yes,
up?
I've
Get
thrown
outta here.
Then
tomatoes.
you've eaten a
No
turkey
way.
leg. That's like Turkey Leg City. You walk around, you grab a turkey
thrown
leg.
an axe.
Love a turkey leg.
One-hander. It's a
not
one-handed
not
snack.
really for me. Renaissance fair turkey leg. Not really for me.
Oh yeah, you gotta
Missing
love
out.
that.
I
That's
get
Fred
super
Flintstone's favorite food.
I haven't been to a Ren fair in about 10 years, but I got super into
the
it.
Reds,
I was
actually.
drunk, but a lot of people are, and that's apparently the thing. I would walk up to people, good morrow, like the whole deal.
Not surprising that you would do it in character. Chris Cote, you were
Doth
hurt
thou
by.
have some ale?
You were wounded, Chris, by your father's insistence to make the turkey leg Fred Flintstone joke when he just did giant steaks. He even got the facts wrong. It's not just that
Right.
it's not that the Fred Flintstone was useless by itself. It was also that Fred Flintstone wasn't an eater of giant turkey legs. He had the steak that would make your car fall over.
Brontosaurus ribs is
On
what
the
made his
show.
car.
And-
on the
Thought.
show, but in his
Well
private
said.
life,
Oh,
he
God.
loved turkey
His
legs.
private life.
Flintstone.
And also, my dad is claiming to be this Disney turkey leg aficionado. I guarantee you he has not had a Disney turkey leg since like 1991.
Probably you're wrong. I mean,
Here we go.
Certainly had
Another strong rebuttal from Greg Cote.
I mean, I don't keep track of it.
What you got, Chris?
Defend yourself, Adam.
I don't write down the date when I had a turkey leg. I mean, I can't take me at my word. I love a turkey leg more than a chicken leg, quite frankly.
Put it on the poll, please, Roy. In his private life, did Flintstone love a good
That's
turkey
right. Off
leg?
camera.
You didn't tell anybody.
Darth Cody on Wednesday is not taking any of your guff.
So it's Flintstone out of character,
Yes.
right? Off time. Like
Right.
he doesn't want to be seen on camera because he's a cartoon. He's got an image to protect.
Right.
He's got the giant steak that knocked over his car.
That's right.
But cut. And he goes over,
Yeah.
but he says, fuck
Sprints
Barney.
to
I've
it,
never
yeah.
liked
Yeah,
him.
Wilma,
Goes
bring me
over
the usual.
And starts
Right.
eating a turkey leg.
Yeah.
Excellent work by you, Greg.
Thank you.
Truly dreadful.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
Number 2.
I actually just talked to my mom on the phone. He says he did order avocado toast at First Watch a few months back, but he says he hasn't had a turkey leg at Disney in 40 years. My mom just said.
Well, she keeps track, does she?
Right.
All right. What date was it then?
There it is. Look it up.
Yep.
Look it up, Erlene.
Darth Cody.
That's his. There it is.
I mean, you're probably
He will
wrong.
not be
I
wrong
mean-
from any angle. You will not be wrong. Wednesdays are his wheelhouse day.
Like his posture's different.
Sounds like
mean-
Charles Bricker right now.
He's not even doing a show anymore. He's just trying to be right. Like
Yeah,
it's just
taking no guff.
By saying you're probably wrong.
It's so weird to say I love a turkey leg and nobody believes me. Why? Why would I say
because
that?
you lied about the avocado toast and you
No, I
lied
didn't.
about the last
Well,
time you
no, he
had
told
a
the
turkey
truth.
leg.
the truth.
He was just verified.
Right. I also had avocado toast more recently than that in that little joint we go to right off University.
I don't believe
Fascinating.
it.
Across
That's
from the
First
Broward
Watch.
Mall.
Dad,
Yeah,
that's
that little
First
joint.
Watch.
Yeah.
He
No,
just
no, different place.
I
Betsy's
don't
or
think he
whatever
knows
it's
he's
called.
on the air. I think he just wants to win the argument. People are getting a
Not
real
even
live
talking into
look
the
of what
microphone.
it's like to be Greg
He's just
Cody's
fighting.
friend.
Betsy.
Betsy's. What's the name of that restaurant? It's a woman's name.
You mean Miriam's?
Marion's. Yes. Marion's or Marion's. They have
Marion's.
avocado toast.
Yeah.
I tried it there.
Happening.
It was okay. It's not good.
We're on
It's
the air.
overrated.
We're on the air.
Oh,
It was overrated. Although Marion's is great. Plus, they have Bialys.
that little joint on University, right?
Yeah, we
fantastic
love
tuna.
a Bialy, not a bagel.
It does have a good tuna, actually.
It does.
Does. You've been there, right?
Of course.
Damn right.
Mhm.
The official breakfast joint of the Greg Cote Show podcast.
A little too crowded on Sundays.
If only, right? If only I got a free Bialy for saying that. I'll mention it next time I'm in there. I wonder if they advertise on podcasts. Christopher, look that up, would you?
So proud of yourself, right?
Not particularly. I do love that fanfare music, though. Make me feel bigger than I am.
Can you explain to me where it is that you drift off to, where you just decided to take 5 minutes of this show to just go down memory lane with your son on the name of a place you eat a few blocks from
It's
your
a good
house?
place.
I thought it was
man.
Betsy's,
Yeah.
but it was Marion's.
It should be Betsy's.
It
though.
should. But no, listen, I had to give my bona fides because it was suggested that I didn't actually eat avocado toast. Now we have 2 instances of me having had avocado toast to justify my Mount Gregmore of overrated foods.
Number
That's all.
2, Dan admitting that he did ketamine treatments and no one followed up on that.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I was stunned that everyone in the room was shocked by it and just skipped right past it.
Moving on. Number 1, we talked about Aaron Rodgers for like 6 hours yesterday. Why?
It was sad.
Yeah.
Why?
Stugotz came back in today talking about him, trying to get him on stupidity.
Well, listen, Tom Fanning has not responded. I said yesterday he's never gone 11 minutes without responding to me. Now it's been an entire day. We're done with Aaron. I have requested Aaron so many times for you that I am asking you to do me a favor. Explain to Tom Fanning it was you, not me, who said critical things about Aaron Rodgers, and get him on stupidity for me, please.
You did say critical things.
I did,
You were
but
the
Aaron and I
harshest
hugged it
voice.
out. We hugged it out. We're fine. He said he loves me. We're good.
but who cares?
That's a good point.
I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, he's not that interesting.
It was sad to me.
I don't think any of this is that interesting. Okay, he did ayahuasca. That's cool.
All right.
What else? What else we got? Hard Knocks. You guys see Hard Knocks last night?
No.
What about that Dan Campbell? I'd rather talk about any other
Okay.
NFC North
You know what?
quarterback than Aaron Rodgers.
Good
Give
point.
me anything on
All right.
Jared Goff.
No, good point. Jared
For
Goff,
Christ's
God,
sake,
no.
Kirk Cousins. Tell
Ooh,
me
that
something
tattoo,
about
though.
Kirk Cousins.
That
Is he good?
tattoo.
I want to do Dan Campbell here because I appreciate that you brought up Dan Campbell, who's still roaming, and it's a fine list, and your criticisms are all valid, every last one of them. So please, if you would, I would love for you to be criticizing our show, any of you, the day after it is aired, because Mike is saying he can't. It's a great advertisement for our show. Can't listen on the days he's not here. Also, an advertisement on behalf of narcissism, Mike Ryan.
I don't care if you have one ass cheek or 3 toes, Dan. It's
This
too
is
much
the
Aaron
one.
Rodgers yesterday.
Okay, agreed. And the whole thing was pathetic and beneath us, and we should be ashamed, and I am. And I was, and I remain.
I'm not.
That's what the special K treatments are for, though.
That's right.
Make you forget about
The
it.
healing, exactly right. 6 special treatments in Miami, clinically.
6?
Clinically, that's right. 6 sessions. I told you guys
Well, it's a
that
regimen,
yesterday, and you
Roy.
weren't listening
You did say
either.
it yesterday.
So here is what Dan Campbell said, and we have loved Dan Campbell, Man Campbell, for a long time here. I think, Mike, you've probably got a Man Campbell file that we can't get enough of around here because this guy has been talking his way into leadership for many seasons, and it doesn't matter how ridiculous what he says is. So yesterday, he's prowling around the room, and he's yelling at his players, I'll play you on grass, turf. I'll play you in a fucking landfill. I don't care. And then he says, doesn't matter whether you have 1 ass cheek and 3 toes. I will beat your ass. And I just don't know what he thinks he was trying to say there. Like, why do you have one ass cheek? Why do you have three toes? Why would you be more imposing?
He'll beat up the handicapped. Is that what he was saying?
I don't know.
He's saying he'll beat up all comers. It doesn't matter what you're armed with. One ass cheek, 3 toes, 10 toes, 13 toes. I'm going to kick your ass.
Okay, but he says that, and every week someone else kicks his ass. He says he will bite your kneecaps, and every week. I mean, last season we felt pity for him the first 7 games of the season. This guy. We were rooting for him to win because we don't ever want him to shut up. We don't want him to be humbled.
I actually did think that the best part of the episode, Chris, and correct me if you disagree, was Jamal Adams' speech to the team where he's
Goosies.
It was such a good speech. It was way better than Dan Campbell's speech at the beginning of the episode, which I did not follow. Chris brought up the line earlier where he said, if you see a bright line in a tunnel, it's a freight train.
No, he goes, the light at the end of the tunnel is a freight train.
I mean, like,
Jesus.
Okay, maybe it is. I mean, where are we right now? Are we in a tunnel? Are we on train tracks? I don't understand this. What is this a metaphor for?
How does any of this work?
I don't know. But Jamal Adams gave a speech later on in the episode with the team, like, in the huddle, and he started, like, getting really upset and kind of crying, and he was saying how upset last year's record made him and winning 3 games, and like they have to remember their why, and everyone kind of like came in and they were like, Lions on 3, and I was like, wow, that was actually a really
He's like, this means something to me. He like literally was like breaking down, this means something to me. It's pretty cool.
I'm very confused why they brought back Jared Goff. If
Jared Goff.
If the goal was to be better than last year, there was a couple of problems with that team. I'd say the quarterback play was one. That's a big one that you want to address. They just decided to run it back.
Well, you say bring him back, but when
he threw a ball away on 4th down once. Like he was like, nah, we're going to play this one safe.
But what else are they supposed to do? I mean, he's
they could
under
have drafted
contract.
somebody.
They have Tim Boyle and David Blah.
Yeah. What? As if that wasn't a byproduct of their own design. Like they could have not had David Blah.
I wish.
The worst name for a quarterback.
It really is.
David Blah.
Boyle and Blah.
Also, $5 fine. It was Jamal Williams. I said Adams.
Twice. Man. Yeah, $10 twice. But no one called you out because we weren't certain if Jamal Adams, I wrote it down.
No one knew.
Yeah.
But as it regards Jared Goff, because it rarely gets laid out this way, right? As we spent all those years oversimplifying the analysis of how are the Patriots so great? Is it Brady or is it Belichick? Which is it? Is it one of them or is it the other? And then Brady leaves and you're like, oh, okay. Well, that's interesting that would play out that way.
That solves that.
Well, but Jared Goff, truly terrible before McVay got to him. McVay gets to him. They sign him to a big contract saying this will be enough. We can system our way around it. Jimmy Garoppolo, it can be the same kind of creature. We can win with this. We got to the Super Bowl with it. It got undressed by Belichick, but the coaching thing with the shitty quarterback got you there. And then they realized their mistake. And to me, the brilliance of it was realizing their mistake fast, because you can fall into a 6-year hole with this shit where you can't be decisive about, you're stubborn about, oh, I was wrong, but I didn't know it. And you keep trying to make it work and you get more and more miserable. They traded off the contract problem to the Lions. And I assumed as soon as the Lions incorporated, oh, they're just going to lose on purpose, and Dan Campbell is going to helmet. They're going to lose on purpose. He's going to go out there and give good coach, but they can't win with that quarterback because he was a terrible quarterback. He was incompetent before McVay got him, and then got to the Super Bowl. Incompetence, Stugotz. I didn't think. Go look at the numbers of Jared Goff, given what you're expecting now from quarterback play, where Mike White comes in and gives you 35 of 41. Go look at what Jared Goff was when Jeff Fisher was coaching him.
It's pretty bad. He had really good years with McVay. I will tell you, I will say this. The year he had last year with the Lions, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, he had 19 touchdowns and 8 interceptions.
Anyone can do that.
He had a 91.5 QB rating.
Anyone can do that. I can get Davis Mills to do that. I can go find anyone to do that now.
To Stugotz's point, that's very mediocre, but it's not awful.
Right.
The Lions are awful. That quarterback's not going to make them better. That quarterback's not good enough. The Rams are geniuses for becoming champions by cutting a mistake quickly and for all the league to see.
As strong as you can have a take when it comes to the Detroit Lions. Dan has gone out on a limb. He thinks they're bad.
But they will lead the league in kicking the ass of anybody who arrives with a single butt cheek and missing toes.
Yeah, right. That's what it's going to take for them to win a game. Play a team full of that.
If it was a team full of guys that had one butt cheek and 3 toes,
I'd
would
say
they
the
still
spread
be
is 4.
favored? Yeah.
The spread is at least 4. It's under a touchdown.
Put it on the poll, please. Who's favored? The Lions or a team of guys with one ass cheek and 6 toes is what we're doing total.
Let's say
6 total toes.
If they're playing the Rams on a neutral field, but
Yeah.
all the Rams players have lost an ass cheek and they now have 6 toes,
Okay.
I still think the Rams are favored.
Right. -7,
Not that much.
but you're taking the Rams.
Yeah.
Against a literal half-ass team.
Yeah, that's right.
Team half-assed.
That's got to be tough sitting on a toilet seat, I would imagine. And walking to the toilet with 6 toes. Yeah. Just trying to imagine that.
It is difficult.
Tough.
It's hard to imagine no ass cheek. So it's just like
You got to get like half a
just like a
toilet.
I would
Right.
imagine
Yeah.
your one ass cheek is like centered though. Like it's not like you're imagining like just like so your ass like it's just
You guys have
You would
two-
have to adjust the toilet.
but your back can adjust, right? It's not just a straight plank. Does it like fold
where's the crack?
like a chair?
The crack's still
crack's
in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
the crack's not
Well,
moving.
then you have to.
No,
if
it's half a
the
crack.
crack's in the
Crack
middle,
don't
I hate to
move.
break it to you guys. I got 2 cheeks.
No, it's just in the middle, and then
What
the
if there's no
other-
crack, just a hole?
Right.
He
There's no
said the ass
crack.
cheek fell off.
Yeah, you lost your cheek in the war.
So there's no crack. There's
Why
no
was
crack
there
at
a
all.
war?
That's where you lose it.
That's
Yeah.
where you lose.
There's
That's where you
just-
usually
Just
lose
a
it.
round
That's right.
mound,
Yeah.
like an
Thank you, Roy.
M&M.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
They don't have asses.
Round mound.
How many
Rebound?
total toes are there? Is it?
Well, 10.
But it's not. Yes, thank you. In general,
Thank you, Stugotz.
but
Nailed it.
are we looking at 4 toes total?
No, it's either 3 or 6.
Right.
How many?
3 on each foot.
Well, what did
Six.
Campbell
But
say?
then there's
He
one
said
cheek on each side of
Right, no, I
the
think-
body.
I think he said
No,
3
There's
total.
no cheek. They can't
he's
be
removing
cheeks.
7
You got 2
toes
hands.
and 1 ass cheek.
One has 1
Yes.
finger, one has 2 fingers.
If you've
3
removed
toes.
an ass cheek, you've removed the crack.
Correct.
So you
That's what
just
I'm
have
saying.
this
There's no
lopsided,
crack.
fleshy
There's
circle.
no crack anymore.
You have him
With a hole
removing
at the
7
bottom.
toes.
Yes.
7 toes.
There's
Yes,
no
that's like
crack.
kicking your
This
ass.
person
Yeah.
has 3 total toes. The person
Right.
whose ass we're kicking.
with
Now-
no crack.
Yes.
No, it's just like a misshaped, lopsided, fleshy thing with a hole at the bottom.
Correct.
and 3 toes. 3
On
total
each
toes.
foot. Oh,
No,
3
this
total
is the
toes?
part I've been
Oh, then
trying-
I'm taking lions.
This is what I'm saying. I think we need to get the details
How are you going
right.
to plant and go?
Stugotz has him missing 7 toes.
Which are the toes? If
Yeah.
it's a big toe, then I'm also taking lions.
It's
Now they're
2.
Jason Pierre-Paul.
Stugotz, something that always stimulates my interests is changing in real time consumption habits of any kind. The cell phone arrives. Okay, we're going to go to not answering the phone anymore. We're going to go to text messages. That's
Right.
nobody's going to announce it. It's just going to be something that changes. And we're living in a ton of them. They're all over the place. Amazon, I don't think anyone saw all of that coming. Just going to take out retail. Starts as a bookstore. Next thing you know, oh no, this is how I need to do it. I need to get my stuff more conveniently. I'm going to eliminate the malls. The thing that I'm interested in entertainment right now is what's happening in the way that people consume content. And the reason I bring it up is because I think Jessica, when she's talking about having a PTSD triggered by The Bear, which I think is on Hulu, she is sharpening her viewing habits by grabbing the streamers that she wants. And these are the shows that I want to binge. And if you give me enough of them, here are my 3 or 4 or 6 streaming services. I don't think that that's the way Stugotz and Greg Cote are doing it.
Well, I should explain why first, Dan. That 17-minute, sorry, chef. The 17-minute long take that they had in the second to last episode of The Bear made me, it just reminded me of our 24-hour marathon Freedom. And I was watching it. I was watching them yell at each other about peppers. Chef, cousin, who's got the peppers?
Cousin.
You working on the peppers?
Yes, chef.
Everyone's yelling about peppers.
Behind.
It's one of the most stressful things I've ever
Brought
seen
back
on
hands.
television.
It was great.
Just 17 straight minutes of that. Greg, but how are you doing your streaming habits? Because Stugotz has descended into Stan Van Gundy land. Give me my Law and Order, FBI, hospital shows on CBS.
Just FBI International, FBI's Most Wanted. They're all great. They're all the same, but they're all great.
Stan Van Gundy viewing poopery.
I
They
love.
always get their guy, Dan. I mean,
Yeah. Oh no, I love The Bear. I watch that religiously. Can't wait till season 2. But I can't, and I'm being very honest, not to make fun of myself, I can't keep track of what's on what streaming service.
Agreed.
I just can't.
Yes.
There's so many of them. I don't know if what we're watching is FX or Hulu or Netflix. I don't know. I can't keep track.
But I think this is happening with generationally with all over the place. I've told you as it comes to cash, it happens more and more to me. Every time I'm paying with cash, people think it's the strangest thing.
They laugh at you.
Yes,
Right.
cashiers that aren't looking at it that way anymore. You, Stugotz, must feel somewhere in here, though you get comfortable with the old ageness of it. You must feel similarly to Greg Cote. There's only so much you want to learn, and you're helping the thing that keeps the industry alive so far, because there are fewer Jesses than there are you guys. These are creature of habit, familiar entertainment options. They will die slowly, but the future's clearly here, and it's you picking your menu the way you want without commercials. Like
But Dan, think about what you just said. You said The Bear, which I'm assuming it's a show that you like, but you were guessing as to whether or not it's on Hulu or not.
Well, because
I know where FBI is, CBS.
That is part of the
all
change.
reliable.
But
Yes.
after asking the first few times of where was this, Netflix, Apple, I've chosen my providers, and the game right now in all of money and content as Netflix. We've been talking about this all week. As Netflix says, how good it is matters. How good it is matters. Look at this. We're discovering we were just printing money. And then Apple comes in and they're like, well, this is how much it matters. We've got as much money as you, but we're not going to make everything. We're going to only try to make good things and lure you in one at a time with what Bill Lawrence told us yesterday, which is I need to see Ted Lasso. It's one of the things that got word of mouth. What gets me over there, but they're all fighting for this space. And I really don't know the people listening to this as television changes. I don't know what your limit is. Is it 4? Is it 5? Because there are a lot more than 5 that want your eyes right now. There are a lot more than I don't know where the number is for you, but Cody and Stugotz are already at, I don't even need a couple. I'm good where I am. I like watching on DirecTV or however it is I'm watching.
I'm totally fine, but I think that number shifts depending on where you're at in your life. So, like, I have kids, like, we're about to be empty nesters, and I'll have a lot more time to sit down and actually watch television. Right now, for me, it's 1 or 2 max. Like,
but you're still doing cable television.
I am.
There are so many people. I don't know whether the number's 25% or something like that. They're going off the grid, off that stuff. That is what's happening at ESPN. When the way the model folds apart is you used to have 120 million subscribers that were paying $9.99 a month, even though 500,000 of them were watching Highly Questionable. So you got 119 million people paying for something that aren't watching it.
Right. It's a great model.
It's a great model.
Yeah.
It's we're all infomercials around the sporting events. And then what you've seen is people go off the grid as those numbers drop because people say, no, I don't want to pay cable bundles anymore. Hulu's got sports or whatever. Now Disney's going to grab that money there, but that's what's happening in this world. And sports is about to be your viewing habits as a sports fan. Well, they're already changing. There are baseball games you got to find on Apple. Like if you're a big baseball fan, an old head has to get their apps in order and figure out where do I find Apple Television, because they're going to be people looking for Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime who don't have any access right now to Amazon Prime, don't even know what it is.
Is there such thing as too much content though? Like It's looking like a Cheesecake Factory menu situation right now. It's just too many things.
What's the number? But what is the number on apps? What is, if I ask the audience or you guys, limit on streaming service monthly fees that you're willing to take to replace television or to change your view?
It depends what's there. I mean, I have to have Amazon Prime because I want to watch Thursday Night Football. So therefore, that's one of them for me. Roy is so right about the Cheesecake Factory, though, because eventually you're tired of flipping those pages and you just land on the shepherd's pie. I mean, that's it.
That's not true.
Oh, it is for me.
I don't think. You
too
think
many options.
I don't believe the Cheesecake Factory shepherd's pie is popular.
It's delicious. Now, it's like page 3 or 4 of the menu. There's still 7 pages to go, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
It's like
I found the show. And
It's
that's
like some show you found.
Yeah,
Right.
Shepherd's pie. Yeah.
And you're like, I heard that. That's good. I haven't heard that that's good.
It's good. Well, listen, it's just there. I mean, it's always on page 3. I know where it is. I mean.
All right, Jessica is telling me that Lane Kiffin is in
The Lane Train.
the waiting room here. We were going to tape this, but it is going to end up happening live.
Let's get
because I've
dangerous.
been wanting to talk, but he needs to know that we're live. We can't spring on him the idea. Because live, Lane Kiffin, all kinds of Lane
He
Kiffin.
deserves to know. Anyone deserves to know that they're on live.
Right, but live Lane Kiffin can, he should know.
Could be fun, live Lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is what we are waiting for at the moment. But
to answer your question, Dan, about the streaming services, for me, it's like I'll settle on the ones that I need. There's not a show out there that's streaming right now outside of football that I care enough about where I'm going to have that streaming service just because of that show. So for me right now, that could change moving forward. Right now, it's all about where am I going to find the sports I want to watch.
I don't believe that Cody will be honest here. I don't know how he comes upon where he's streaming, but I assume your wife handles all of that. I'm assuming that if you had to go find anything for yourself by downloading an app or anything else, that you would not be able to find any of these things yourself,
Dan,
and that the remote is something that confuses you.
He can't turn on the TV.
I know how to download an app, but
on your phone. I'm talking about,
Correct.
Dad, if you're home alone and you'd
Right.
like to turn on the TV and put on the Red Zone channel.
I will say my wife deals with all the
We're talking about, he's talking about,
remotes.
she deals with turning it on and putting channels on.
Right. But
like turning the Apple TV on, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't know what's where. You
Right,
know, and then she
exactly.
says, look at the menu. And I'm like, how do I access the menu? You know, I don't know how to do any of that
How often
stuff.
are you calling Michael to just say, Michael, how do I get the Food Network on?
I don't remember what numbers or what. I still say,
So
what number's
often.
ESPN? 205? Who can remember? I don't have a guide.
There actually
showing me the
is a
numbers.
guide,
There is a guide.
at that table you
I
have.
don't have
Under
it.
that, if you open that drawer
Guide
at your guys'
Fieri.
No. I don't need a guide in a drawer.
Guide
What-
Fieri.
I don't know what channel the Food Network
I
is on,
need a
yet I watch
guide.
it all the time.
I want a guide on my screen.
Yes.
Right? That's like, let me hit guide on the remote
Yeah.
control and all the channels come up.
Right.
And I take a stroll through the guide. I
Yes.
mean, there's nothing like a little stroll through the guide.
I love a guide.
That's great.
Yep.
Guy's always on Fridays, Triple D's.
Yeah, but what channel's that? Used to be 4, 7, and 10.
Right.
You know,
Easy
number
cheesy.
198.
Do
Right.
you
6
understand what's
198.
happening right now? This is the
Please.
generational war happening.
Shepherd's Pie, page
Used to be
3.
Exactly.
My
Right.
dad's not complicated by all the streaming services. He's just complicated on how to turn his TV on.
You know what? A show has to be great for me to watch it because there's too much variety. There's too much content, too much sensory overload. If it's Ted Lasso or Hacks, I love it. I'm going to watch it religiously. If it's a show that I like but I don't like Only
Do you know
Murders
where
in the
they
Building,
are, though?
I'm not loyal
Ted
to
Lasso, do you know where it is?
it. No, I don't know what streaming
On his
service it
screen.
is.
Do you know where Hacks is?
No, I have no idea how to access it. That's why I'm happily
You would be
married.
so lost without my mom.
The reason that I'm asking the question, though, as Stugotz is aged out, as basically what you have with Stugotz here and Greg Cote, creatures of habit with the form of entertainment that is familiar. And it matters that it's familiar because you'll stay with it for a long time if you don't have to change. They have officially stopped learning. And Greg Cote many, many years ago.
Well, same
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
That just decided I'm not going to learn anymore. I have all the information I can have.
Yes.
That's enough.
Yep, the only stats that matter: home runs, RBIs, and batting average.
Bingo.
Baby. Thank you.
So I need Amazon Prime to watch Thursday Night Football. Will not be available to me on NFL Network,
All right, so
on
let's
CBS, Fox.
let's get you
I'm asking.
let's get your dinosaurs out of here for a second because Lane Kiffin's in the middle of a changing sport. Okay? Lane, you seem very relaxed. You seem very confident. You seem happy to be Lane. Do I have all of this right?
Sure. Today you caught me at a good moment. I did hot yoga this morning, so yes, I'm in a very good place. I've not been rattled yet today.
And you've also learned some things, right? God almighty, you've made all the mistakes in coaching in public, and now you can have the confidence of your successes, right? Like, I mean, holy shit, you're still a young man, and it feels like you've been at it forever.
Yeah. There's a book that we had, Ryan Holiday who wrote it, Come Speak to Our Players, that I refer to all the time, like obstacles the way. Like, yeah. So when you make all those mistakes on the national stage, because you're at a major job versus the normal way, you kind of make those mistakes and no one's covering you and you're at a small school working your way up. When you do it this way, you learn early. So definitely got them out of the way, I guess.
I'm wondering, trying to picture you doing hot yoga. Is this like a private session or is this like you're at, LA Fitness with like 60 people?
well, I'm definitely not in LA here. So, no, I'm in Oxford. So
no, LA Fitness, Lane. LA
I
Fitness.
know, but it gives me a
Are you in a
visual
big
of LA.
class?
Okay, yes, it's the okay, you're
You're in
Oxford Fitness. It's not as nice as LA Fitness. It's Oxford.
No, not Oxford hot yoga with 4 people in there.
Right.
No, it's kind of like hanging out in the dugout. I don't do the private lesson thing. You just man of the people.
You're alleging that Lane Kiffin crosses campus with a yoga mat under his arm, gets in a sweaty Bikram yoga class with 12 other people, and does downward dog like a normal human being.
100%. Now I go to the back row, so I'm not big like go in the front where everybody can see you.
Right.
But yes, I do. And the mat across the campus, I do. That would be the high maintenance part. They already have a mat there set for me, so I don't really walk, across campus carrying a mat.
Okay, so no mat under the arm there. It's where the Lane Kiffin special is waiting for you. They've learned to expect you for the hot yoga.
Are you skateboarding across campus?
I am not. No, It's actually not very far. And it was at 6 this morning, so it was on the way in, so I drove.
No scooter or anything? Do you have a golf cart? Do you get around campus in a King's vehicle of some sort?
I don't really go around campus very much. No, I don't. I'm not, excited about saying this. I actually walked to the Grove, the legendary Grove, for the first time the other day from my office, which just sounds really bad. You'd think in year 3 you would know how to get there from your office, but I really had never gone there that direction. I'd only been dropped off there on a bus for the pregame walk. So when you have a dog, and they come to do a special on the dog, these things happen. So ESPN was here and Gene Wojciechowski, and they wanted to go to the Grove with the dog. So I learned how to get there.
Your life has changed a lot by location and through the learning that you have done. And now you find yourself in your career, I imagine, pretty comfortable, but everything around you is changing very quickly. What have the last 2 years been like for you, just as a coach, a leader responsible for this, as you've seen like all of the charade, all of the walls come crumbling down on how big a business this is?
Yeah, I think, again, those things that are good and bad, everything has good and bad. And so that whole, on the highest level so early on and seeing it, there's good because you're the youngest this and you're at these big jobs and everything. But there's, a bad part of it because you see how those places operate and how, people and fans and donors, especially, how fast they turn on you. So once you've done it for a while, you just know what it is. And so you just continue to see it all around. And college football, and now coaches get fired after 2 years in college football which when you really think about how are you ever supposed to, get a program really turned around that fast and, be completely judged on that of the job that you've done. So it just is what it is. And the longer you're in it, I guess you accept it and know what it is, and you're not surprised by it.
What do you regard, though, as the place that hurt the most, where you looked up and doubted about, like, wait a minute, have I done irreparable damage to my career here? I'm not going to be able to get up off my knees, or were you always hopeful?
No, I mean, that happens. I mean, you get fired at USC and it's a national firing and on a tarmac at 3 a.m. I mean, that's kind of gonna scar you there for a little bit. And it's week 5 of the season. So when you get fired that early, the story runs forever. You don't get a job right away. So there's a lot of time there, and you question, where you're at in your career and can you get back and all those things. So going back to that as obstacles the way thing, I look at that completely different. I thought, like, there couldn't have been something worse happen to me than getting fired from my dream job. And then you realize, hey, had you never done that, you would have never went to Alabama, worked with Nick Saban, been around those great players and coaches, but to be able to learn from him, which, in turn made me that much better when I eventually became a head coach again. So, we just talk to our coach players about that all the time. Now you get in these things, these moments, you think like this, there's nothing worse that could be happening, and you have no idea why it is. And someday you're going to find out there was a reason.
Lane, does the school, the tradition, the history, the coach, does any of that matter anymore?
As far as what exactly?
In terms of where kids want to go? Or is it just money?
No, it doesn't. When I make the statements about NIL, I don't say it's, the only thing that matters. It is the number one thing, which is most professions, most jobs, because this is now, a profession or professional sports. These are jobs. And a lot of people, especially if you're young, if you're 17, 18, and a majority of them not having money, salary is going to be the first thing when you guys go to take a job. So it certainly is at their age and their situation. The other stuff still matters, and facilities for development of players once you get them and stuff. But, I think I kind of went way out there compared to most in that statement, but that's just what you're going to get always. I mean, you're just going to get the way that it is and not your normal coach speak. And to think that how much you pay players is not going to be the number one impact of where they go. I mean, you got to get realistic.
Yeah, but if the money's good enough, do you see any players going to a school like Vanderbilt?
I think if you were able to see the discrepancy of being so different in a salary, someone would. But usually there's not a program that's not a kind of premier program with the money to go way out there and pay someone much different than they're getting at another place. So usually these things are kind of going hand in hand. Usually your bigger programs got there for a reason. They usually had better facilities and more money put into them. And that's kind of a lot of what NIL is in the collectives, because a lot of their money is from the donors.
Lane, when you look down the road, you see NIL as the beginning of what? Can you picture a day when the superstar starting college quarterback is making as much legal money as some head coaches?
Yeah. I mean, if reports are what they are out there of what's getting paid to, a couple of these high school quarterbacks in the next class, that's already happening. We've had jokes of coaches, places that we know say, they're now the lowest paid person in their position room, and so, that's here. And until that gets completely changed, capped, controlled, that's how it's going to go. And it's not, there's a lot of bad parts about that, of dynamics of locker rooms, of players. You're going to give all this money to a player that's coming in that you really don't know how good they are. You screw up the NFL draft all the time, and that's with players 3-4 years older that you have a ton of information on. So there's going to be a lot of, what you'd call in professional sports, dead money sitting there.
What's the going rate for these quarterbacks you're talking about?
Well, again, I'm going to say things based off of just, what's out there and what you guys would be able to find out and stuff. And you're seeing guys, make a couple $1 million a year that are still in high school, getting ready to come out. They're not even in college yet. So it is what it is. I'm not, going to fight it. And that's just kind of how we always do in our program, whether it's offense, defense, schemes, and just it is what it is, and figure out a way to do it really well.
You have, forgive me, I don't know. You have a way of cutting through the bullshit, Lane. So if any of this is problematic, you tell me. But if I want to be a top 20 program and I want a running back that's really good, what's that going to cost me? Like the average cost. You're running a corporation. You're a CEO. You know what these things have numbers now, assigned values, do they not?
Not as much as you would think, because again, you don't have public record and contracts. So you're not able, it's not like the NFL or somewhere you can just pull up all the contracts and here's the average salary over how many years. So it's not that easy to figure out. And, it sounds like people are set up in very different ways, because again, there's no base contract structure for everybody, whether they're getting that right when they get there, whether they're getting that over the term of 4 years, while they're there, whether they have to stay to get it. There's all kinds of different ways. Because again, you have collectives writing the contracts that's not controlled by the head coach or the school. So it'd be like in the NFL, the general manager, the head coach isn't telling them what to pay and writing contracts. Someone else outside of the building, outside of the organization is. So it's a really messy situation.
Why didn't you get Arch?
Oh, you were so close to getting Arch.
Lane, I thought he was going there.
I thought he was there. Yeah. I thought you thought he was there, didn't you?
Well, this would be those weird rules they have. I can't even answer that because he was still a prospective student athlete that is not signed there. that's kind of that maturity thing. I would have answered that years ago.
Oh, well, the Mannings are cheaters. Everyone knows it. And all of them are for sale. And Texas.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of
I don't think Lane's saying any of this.
I don't know. Well, he's not
Lane's
saying
not
it, but
saying
I don't like this new adult Lane. I like Let It Fly Lane is the lane that I prefer. You had him. How certain were you that you had him? You can't even do that?
I can't. And yeah, this new lane doesn't help your ratings very much. You don't really get those like
all right.
ESPN ticker lines anymore.
Can you do it this way? Hypothetically, a magical quarterback who was born from quarterback royalty appears in high school, and Lane Kiffin could have gotten him because he had links to the old school. I thought it was a foregone conclusion. I was surprised that this hypothetical quarterback would end up anywhere else.
Well, I don't know how to do that exactly, but I have said all along, sometimes, and I'm not saying this happened here, but at places, sometimes kids especially like things or dislike things that you think they may like or dislike. And let's say I go to a place, I'm this 17-year-old kid, and I go to a place that every they got streets with my names on it. The whole building's named after me. That could be a great thing. And then you may have some personalities. I said along my personality, I wouldn't want that. I don't want to go do my own thing somewhere different. And, by the way, there's someone that had that same choice that did. His name's Peyton Manning. So, I think that can be a real plus, like everybody around here would think, but I think it can be a negative, like I said, from day one.
Right. Hypothetical, Lane. No names.
That's no names. Right, where is success for you this year, Lane? How are we measuring that stuff? Right, you're back in the game. You're in one of the money conferences. You've got a legitimate program. You've got a job. These are good jobs now, Lane. Like the one that you have is a good job. It's a safe job. You can make a lot of money, and I think they appreciate you there. It seems like they do. So how do you measure success?
First off, these aren't good jobs. These are great jobs. I mean, to be not just at the highest level, but the SEC, again, just say it as it is. Like there's a big difference between the SEC and every conference. It's almost like different leagues. So, to have one of these, 14 jobs is really special. And I don't forget about that ever. So we're happy to be here. Went to a Sugar Bowl last year, won 10 regular season games, the most ever in the history of the school. So, we're headed the right direction, but every year is new. And now because of the portal, your years before really don't matter. It's like having massive free agency, and not just on top of massive agency in professional sports, you usually have already lost your best players to the draft. So what people did the year before is really not going to matter very much anymore.
You got any good Mike Leach has been a weirdo lately stories?
No, he really hasn't. Maybe he's like getting mature or something. Like he really doesn't give us very much stuff anymore anyway. So, but also, I don't know, we're in Mississippi and I feel like Leach is in Key West a lot. So I don't think he's up for a whole lot making headlines.
I would love to have your honest reaction wherever you were when they brought to you, Jimbo Fisher going crazy on Nick Saban, like whenever they played for you, all of that sound. Where were you and how did you receive that?
Well, first off, they didn't have to bring it to me. So when there was an announcement Jimbo was having a press conference, if you know these two people, I was here 5 minutes early, like getting ready for like the movie or like watching some, unbelievable national event. Because I'm like, this is not a normal press conference. And I'm thinking there's a lot of people, it's starting a little late. So that means there's a lot of people trying to talk Jimbo into not doing this right now. And that ain't going to work because he's going to do it. And then once it started going, it's like that movie you watch, you're like, wait, this is really happening. And I'm like, wait, he's doing it again. And then you're like, oh my God, he now just said that. So it really, I was like sitting here waiting, like, popcorn ready, like this is going to be really good. So, and afterwards I walked out to my secretary. I said, did that actually just really happen? Or was like, that does not happen. And I was like, if that ever would have happened, I would have guessed I was the Nick Saban assistant that would have done that, not someone else. So it was very interesting to watch.
You were jealous.
I was happy it wasn't me, actually.
Well, we look forward to seeing you at Kyle Field, Lane,
Yeah.
October 29th.
It seems like you're leaking confidence on the impersonation because you're respecting the coach too much. That's our limited
What do
faith.
you mean impersonation?
That's our
Dan LeBatard. Let me
limited-
tell you something, Dan LeBatard. You're going to talk to Lane Kiffin about me. I'm going to come in here and get in on this conversation, daggone it.
But to Dan's point, you're much more confident when you deliver it to Dan than you are to Lane Kiffin.
Roy, do you have the sound of Jimbo Fisher doing this? Because I would like, did it exceed your expectations? Because you know both characters involved and you know that Jimbo's pissed and you've probably been waiting for a long time. Part of it is, right, really? Someone's going to challenge Saban in public? People don't do that.
No, they don't usually. No, it really was like, this is right. And like when he hit him with the, like, you know, thinks he's God thing and walks on water, like that was kind of like, all right, you know, like I said, my ratings are probably down on your show nowadays compared to the old ways. Like that's some good ratings right there.
All right, I'm going to waste 90 seconds of your day and time to play this for the audience, and you're going to have to be ready for an answer on what your favorite part was. If you got with popcorn to listen to it, did that really happen? Here it is, 90 seconds.
Here's what I'm going to say, and this is point blank. This is point blank because here's my problem. There is no $30 million fund. There is no $5 million. There is no $10 million. This is garbage, okay? And it pisses me off that people, and here it comes from a site called Bro Bible by a guy named Sliced Bread. Then everybody runs with it. So it's written on the internet as gospel. How irresponsible is that? And then to have coaches in our league and across this league say it, clown acts. Irresponsible as hell. Multiple coaches in our league. And the guy's griping about NIL, griping about transfer portal, using it the most and bragging about it the most. That's the ironic part. You want character? I'll take it with any of y'all. It's a joke. It does piss me off. The other thing, when you look at vice president, I get another one. Vice president of Notre Dame. Supposed to be at Rutgers University, right? That's a heck of a person leading Rutgers University. I'd be real proud if I hired that guy. Read it off sliced bread. It's funny. Nick Saban said his quarterback got an $800,000 deal. It was wonderful. Now it ain't wonderful no more, huh? Well, ours, we ain't got that. Ours are on record what comes up. We ain't doing all them big deals. There ain't none on our place we know of. That's funny when you do it. The hypocrisy is a joke. It's an absolute joke, and it's insulting to our staff, how hard we worked, to how we do things, and it's insulting to Texas A&M because there ain't a better place to go to school and play ball. If you don't like it, we're coming on. Get used to it, all right? We ain't going nowhere. It's an absolute joke. The people who put the hard work in and do it. It's irresponsible, but it's funny when they get it, it's all okay. Ball games are changing, man. And it ain't because of NIL and what goes on. It's pretty irresponsible of all of them. They're clowns.
We'll go next.
If they got a problem with it, come see me. I ain't a hard guy to find.
That's great. Great.
Your favorite.
The best part about it is there was no question asked throughout that whole thing. It was like you thought there were like 5 different ones to put them all the different directions. I mean, the guy at Notre Dame's getting attacked, the clown thing, other coaches in the conference. So I know that was directed over here, so
Sliced bread. I mean, he took out everyone.
It's just classic when other coaches are watching that and they're just like listening to each other and talking and they just go, yeah, the highest ranked class in the history of football was just signed somewhere that had nothing to do with NIL at all after having like a 7-win season. So they just all came there, because the campus is so beautiful. I mean, come on, bro.
The campus is beautiful, Lane. Y'all are a bunch of clowns.
Did it all of a sudden get more beautiful?
You're one of the clowns. I need an answer to the question. Are you one of the aforementioned Jimbo Fisher clowns?
Yeah, because he's saying the same ones using the portal are the ones complaining about it. So, that was directed at me.
Lane, I appreciate that you're not afraid of sliced bread at Bro Bible. You will go straight. You'll go head first at sliced bread. Thank you for making the time for us. Look forward to you being a mercenary renegade across your sport.
Yeah, I'm sure sliced bread really enjoyed that. Because all of a sudden people looked to find out who sliced bread was. Because he didn't just say it once, he said it twice.
Yeah.
So,
Lane, before you get out of here, though, we've had a raging debate on the show, and I want your thoughts on it. Fajitas, what's better, the smell or the taste?
Probably smell.
Yeah.
My only issue is the whole post-smell thing. Like when you do it, you get them hot, like smell, and then you smell like it, like the rest of the night. So
yeah,
that's my only issue with it. And then people say, well, don't give them smoky, but then you don't have the smell. So that's kind of that's kind of a tough call.
Do you have a controversial food opinion?
I don't think so.
Okay, good talking to you.
I don't like hot and cold together, so that confuses a lot of people. Like, it really bothers me when I see people like put cold like lettuce on something hot. Like the whole hot and cold thing, I just don't.
You don't like
understand.
a grilled chicken Caesar?
Ooh, no. But I would eat the salad if it was separate.
Right.
It just can't be together or even on the same plate. It's just weird.
Is filet mignon overrated?
Yeah, just 'cause it's got a cool name. So,
boom.
Like a lot of things in this world, we just think they're better if the name's cool.
Apologize, Dan.
Apologize, Dan. Okay. I don't know how you arrived there, but okay. Thank you, Lane. Good talking to you.
All right, guys. Have a good one.
See you, Lane.
See you in October.
I felt like you leaked confidence there, and I understand the bravest thing. The bravest thing that anyone does around here is try the impersonation when they're not confident of it. And I have found here, Jessica, I didn't like it. It happened the other day with Amin and Stan Van Gundy. I can't believe that this show of all shows gets a little scared around the coaches, given that I love to puncture the coaches.
Second. I was not afraid. I hadn't done that impression in months. And I was not ready for
rusty.
it. I didn't get to practice it. Rusty.
But no one asked
coming
for
out,
it.
and I was like, but I didn't remember we had Lane Kiffin there. I would have practiced it all last night. Instead, I was singing show tunes.
She's
in my
right,
living
though.
room.
In that moment,
Hurt my
you
vocal
got to
cords.
just fly with the Jimbo. Yeah. Like, there's no better moment for a fake Jimbo than when Lane's talking about Jimbo. So even if you're feeling a little rusty, you still got to go for it. And she did. It was good. Good job, Jess.
Yep. Way to go,
Also,
Smetty.
so rattled because he was on Zoom. They were an hour late. I think there was a time zone mix-up, I assume, because Mississippi's in Central Time. So
He seemed agitated, right?
Like the speaker wasn't working on their end. Like he had to connect to the audio. It was a whole fiasco, Dan, in here. People are texting me. Does Lane know we're live? I'm like, I hope so, because we're live.
We didn't get anything good, so like nothing happened, so they can feel safe about it. But there's nothing better.
We didn't get anything good as a real endorsement for the last 20 minutes.
Let me finish. No, you're right, Dan. You are right, Dan.
I'm about to say, I didn't mean in the interview. I meant beforehand. There was like a 5-minute period where we could hear their entire room and they couldn't hear us. So Lane could have been like, this is bull. Like, like I said, this is what I meant where we didn't get anything. He was actually very nice, but I love that sweet space in a Zoom when you can hear people and they don't know you can hear them.
Mm-hmm. Kick, save, and abuse.
Yeah. Well, the truth comes out.
I don't want to just go skipping merrily past Jessica volunteering moments ago that she was busy singing show tunes in her living room.
I did wonder about that.
She was not preparing for the Jimbo Fisher impersonation because show tunes were being sung.
What were you singing?
What kind of show tune?
Okay, so Jared Bear and I, he's not here today, so we won't do it today. But
put it on the poll, by the way. Excuse me, Jessica. Just put it on the poll at LeBatardShow. Have you ever been so happy in your life that you sing show tunes in the middle of your living room?
Okay, so Jared Bear and I had a long conversation after the show on Monday about musicals, and then right after we left, we got the news that Olivia Newton-John passed away. And so I was kind of inspired by that to watch some musicals Monday night and Tuesday night. So on Monday night, I watched In the Heights for the first time. Hadn't seen it before. It was very good. Very nice musical. Lin-Manuel Miranda, a little Look at Me, Louie, cast himself in everything that he does. Anywho.
Put it on the poll, Chris. Is Lin-Manuel Miranda Lou-Manuel Miranda? Because he's a little bit Look at Me, Louie.
Last night I watched Mamma Mia, so then I was singing ABBA, and then I started singing some Les Mis, and then I started singing some Phantom, and then I was singing some Jesus Christ Superstar.
Wow! Like this was a whole. This was a. You did a production.
I did a concert for myself.
Sounds like a terrible evening.
Yeah, my boyfriend's used to it. He's heard me sing all of these songs, especially if you get me in a car. I will just sing for hours.
Oh, also on a boat the other day, too.
That's why I didn't pick
or
you up
on
today.
A boat.
You were the Ethel Merman of your generation. Congrats.
Also, some Liza Minnelli singing New York, New York. Greg Cote.
There you go.
I think you might have mentioned New York earlier on the show. One of the best stage performances of all time. Liza Minnelli singing New York, New York.
Love Liza.
Ethel Merman.
Let's do this because I'm with you, Chris Cote.
So
Stugotz, please feel free right now to just read for us some random facts facts about the life of Ethel Merman so people can understand
how do you spell Ethel?
How mummified a reference this is, as Greg Cote thinks that he's bringing the heat, bringing the thunder, getting the demo that needs to be gotten when he makes references about people. I'm going to guess Ethel Merman died 40 goddamn years ago.
Talk about a queen of show tunes, though.
She died in 1984.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
Wow.
But I know who Ethel Merman is, Dan. That's like a relevant old reference.
Legend, right?
Unlike most of his irrelevant old references.
Oh, come on now. Hey, now. No, Ethel Merman is a if you sing show tunes and you're compared to Ethel Merman, there's no higher praise. Although Liza Minnelli is right up there because talk about a theatrical voice. I really enjoyed her.
Cabaret.
Yeah.
Is that one of your favorites?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
She was born in 1908.
Damn right she was. I was right there with her. I'm now 113. Thank you.
You said thank you like
He's
17
times.
times.
He's so out of gas. He doesn't know that we're on live. We have done, this is for 90 minutes. It's like carrying around someone who's drugged and sedated. He doesn't know where he is. And he's just like firing off thank yous. He thinks this is an acceptance speech. He believes he is clearly hearing over the last 90 minutes only applause. Like it's just thank you.
Yeah.
No, please sit down, everybody.
Someone will disagree with him and then he'll be like, thank you, Jessica.
He has spent 90 minutes. We've been
Special
on 99 minutes live. He doesn't know where he is. He looks disoriented. He's gotten into several arguments that looked like they would be arguments off air that he didn't realize he was on air.
This is interesting because she was born in 1908, but she insisted later on that she was born in 1912.
Yeah.
Where's Charles Bricker? We're going to get to Refran del Dia with my father in a second. Last week, I don't know that we did a great job explaining ni pinga, de pinga. Papi gets very uncomfortable with some of this stuff. So, Tony, where do you want to help us before we set up Refran del Dia for today? I don't think we cleaned up or did very well the layers on the onion last week on ni pinga, de pingado.
I wasn't here last week.
You weren't?
Because a few months ago we had without
De pingado, right?
Okay, so I just want to make sure we're not
this
repeating.
This is what we're fixing here. So because I don't think we did it well the last time that we did it.
I think your dad was jarred by me saying the word, so he was like, "Oh," and then we kind of just like.
But you didn't say the word. You said nippy.
Nippy.
Which is
the PG-13 version. Cold.
No, it's not nippy.
One ass track and nippy.
So nipinga means you don't have something, right? Like, what do we have to eat?
Nothing.
We have nothing. Right?
We have nothing. Nothing to eat.
Right.
And nippy is short. We have not even dick. Nothing.
Wow. Nothing. Zero. De pinga is when somebody tells you something, you're like, yo, de pinga, like, fuck. Right? That's a
terrible thing that's happened. Yes. Now there is a penis in there, but the penis is useless. The penis doesn't do anything. It's just there.
Yes.
For no reason.
Essentially. So there's varying degrees of the word where you can kind of put, oh, there's nothing to eat, or there's nothing there, or damn, something really bad just happened, or whatever you told me has me just completely shook, which is de pingao. And I feel like Bobby gets really uncomfortable when I have to say it. So I'm like trying to dance around it. So, because me and Bobby have a really good relationship. Me and Lourdes have a great relationship. Wow. So I'm just trying to,
Bobby, what's his name?
Anthony.
Oh, okay. You do have a great relationship. Nice. I thought he was going to get it wrong there.
Thank
I wanted, before we get to Refran del Dia, though, I wanted to talk to you about, I'm always enjoying when sports go maximum stupid. And so when yesterday, there is a moment in Little League Baseball that is heartwarming to all about sportsmanship, where a kid gets hit in the helmet and then gets to first base and hugs a rattled pitcher, comes off the mound, and everyone gets together. There will always be someone out there, someone somewhere, who will say the thing. And it was Dave Portnoy yesterday who said, you got to attack that pitcher there. He's rattled. Now, if he's doing
one of his most epic takes.
But I think it's funny if he's doing it as a troll, if he's doing it actively just to get the attention of, I'm just fooling around, I don't care about kids. I think it's funnier if he's serious. If he's seriously saying that that's not sportsmanship and he's outraged, I think it's extra funny. Because as a troll, it's funny. To be the person who says the thing in a kid's game, nobody was hurt, everyone's celebrating sportsmanship. Let me get the angry mob mad for no good reason. Because just the dumbest possible reason. Let me get my name out there, having a take that doesn't actually matter to anybody, just to stir the hornet's nest of angry parents, because I'm the guy who doesn't have kids. And I'm just saying, throw at the kid's head. You got the pitcher rattled.
Well, I think he was arguing against going over the runner going over and making the pitcher feel better, because once the pitcher hits the kid in the head, that pitcher, according to Portnoy, is rattled. So it's
was rattled.
Why would you want to unrattle the pitcher by going over and telling him, "Hey, it's okay, I'm fine"?
Because they're kids,
right? No, I get it. It's a ridiculous take.
Well, it's going to change him. Wait until he grows up.
Because it's not Major League Baseball, and it would be heartwarming even if it were Major League Baseball.
That would be funny.
Time now for Refrán del Día.
Dímelo, mi gente! I love the bongos in that. I wish I could just bring bongos to play here at the studio.
You could. What is stopping you?
It's one of the best in-arena things. Is it the Miami Heat that do it?
Yeah.
Where they get the bongos going, and then like the crowd, they put you on screen and you got to play the bongos.
I saw it at the Marlins Park the other day.
Oh, maybe it's there.
Yeah.
Poppy, do you like that? Do you play?
Bongos, yeah, that's great. That's great.
But at Heat games, do you play the bongos? Do you?
I play the bongos, sure. That's I get fired up. I get the team fired up when they see me playing the bongos.
I'm not sure my father has seen it on the video. At the games, when you're at the game, have you seen the guy who plays the bongos and then they shoot around the arena and they put like graphic bongos in front of you and then you can pretend to play the bongos?
Sure. I've seen that.
Getting as much from my dad as we have from Cody today. Let's go ahead and go see what you have there.
Let's spin the wheel. Lewis is not here. He's got a kid, another one. Danny's here in the back. He'll be spinning our wheel. Let's do it.
Congratulations to Lewis for having, he's got a lot of
kids.
child.
Another one.
Let's see. Ooh, this one's really good. I actually like this one a lot. And Bobby, this is not one that you will put your head in your hands for. This is a very common one, a very normal one. You ready for it?
It does feel like we're a bit trying to offend Poppy. Like some of the, and it's not, but it's not intentional because even when we're talking about the penis things, there's not a penis involved in any of this. These are all just sayings that don't actually involve a penis.
Exactly. So this one's a very G-rated one. Today's refrán del día is Estoy hasta aquí.
Oh, wow.
Which basically means, Bobby,
I'm up to here.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm up to here with it.
I heard.
I mean, this guy.
It is not, I mean, this guy. That's a different one. But most of them are, I mean, this guy. Refrán del Día is a very limited bit. I'm getting.
Hottest bit on the planet right now, Dan. I'm sorry.
I either don't have a dick or this guy.
This guy doesn't have a dick. It seems like those are our only three options because this was not this guy, but you've had it up to here with this guy.
It's a prequel to this guy. It's like, you know what? Just go I'm up to here with him.
I think my mother used that all the time when I was estoy hasta aquí, like right, and then her hand would go over her head. So I don't know what that.
It's a very indiscriminate place. Like, where is it? Estoy hasta aquí.
But that means, does it mean you're drowning? Does it mean it's overflowing? What?
It's as high as your hands go. That's where hasta aquí is, right? So everybody put their hand over their head right now. That's kind of where hasta aquí is.
I've had it up to here with this guy who doesn't have a dick. Yeah.